Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Rag Company Media Center here in Boise, Idaho, and this is the Rap Institute live streaming event. We've done a lot of these streaming events, but this one is extra special because it is a charity event. And all the money from this cause goes to a great cause. It's the Interfaith Sanctuary, and they help the homeless out, not only give them food and shelter, but also educate them. And as part of this event, we'll have 6 amazing demos, and I'll be joined by Dane and Lisa. Dane and Lisa, why don't you say hi?
Can't hear Justin in my headphones, but I'm assuming we're being introduced. So I will say I'm Dane Hennon, and to my left I've got Lisa here. Say hello to Lisa. She's going to be handling everything when it comes to entries for the donations today. So want to make sure and give a special shout for that. She's handling a lot of the heavy lifting here, so make sure and give her a shout.
Absolutely. And Dane, you're going to be answering, people can ask questions all day throughout the demo. So again, all the demos are going to be filled with information, but if you have a specific question, they can ask you and they can ask us presenters, correct?
Okay, yes, they can ask questions here. I apologize. I can't hear Justin in my headphones at all, so I have no idea what he's saying, but I'm assuming if it's okay for asking questions, yes. Bring your questions, bring your comments, all that stuff. I like it. That's fantastic. Put them in the comments, and we'll be sure to tackle them near the end of each segment as we go along today.
Okay, cool. So thank you so much. And as I said earlier, the Rap Institute has done a lot of live streaming events filled with great demos and information, as well as being entertaining. You definitely have that today. But as I said earlier, this one's super special because it's our first ever charity event. And how it came about is this, is last week I turned 50 years old. And I'm not one to, throw big parties for my birthdays. I like to just spend it quietly with friends and family, which I did. But as I turned 50, something interesting happened. I'm sure it happens to most people who turn 50, is you tend to start to look back at your life and also look ahead. And as I look back at my life, one thing that really stuck out was the fact that I've been in the rap industry now for over 25 years, 26 years to be exact. I started rapping when I was 24 in New York City, and it really just was like, oh my God, half my life I've been taking a squeegee and putting stickers on things, whether walls, floors, windows, cars, even airplanes. Amazing industry to be in. I was very grateful because rapping is super fun. For me, I can't imagine a better industry to be in. I've been surrounded by really amazing, creative people who are passionate about what they do. I've been able to travel the world, and I support my family by doing something that feels like a hobby. It doesn't get any better than that. And what's really cool, and I'm sure a lot of you feel exactly the same, is that I started off in 1996 in New York City, and the rap industry was super tiny. Car rapping had just begun, really tiny industry, and it grew gradually over the years. And then around 2020, 2021, COVID hit, and the industry was growing, and the industry peaked, which was amazing. I'm sure a lot of you out there felt it, where we were lucky to be in this industry, because a lot of other industries went down. And so what was cool about that kind of insight about the industry and about the growth of the rap industry and how thankful I am of it is anytime in life where life gives you a lot. It gives you lots of money, lots of good times, your job feels like a hobby. My feeling is that you should give back. And I think we're on a position in the rap industry where we went up a lot. We've been very grateful for that. But there's other industries where there's people who went flat during COVID and some people went down. And that was really, for me, a big aha moment where I thought, you know what, let's give back. Take my 50th birthday not as a cause for celebration for myself, but I want to celebrate the rap industry, but also help out a lot. So I grew up in Boise, Idaho. A very good friend of mine is Curtis Steigers, and his wife Jody Peterson runs an organization called Interfaith. And last year during a TWI live event here at the Rag Company, we wrapped a trailer for them, which was cool, and I love what they do. So this year, again, pretty spur of the moment. Only about 4 weeks ago did we come up with this idea. I thought, you know what, let's do a live stream, and all the money from the live stream goes to Interfaith. So it's going to help homeless people get off the street and educate them. For me, a big win. Cool. So I contacted really good people for the demos. We got Jason Otterness, Dimas Brasil, Reiner Lawrence. We have John Duever coming on. We also have Anthony and Levi coming on doing great demonstrations. So they're all donating their time to be part of this event, which is great. The Rag Company, man, this center is amazing. Their crew is amazing. They're all donating their time to be part of this. And we also have an amazing group of sponsors who, within a matter of 2 days, we had over 5 figures of prizes to give away. So very quickly, we had an amazing event. So this is where you come into play. So all of you watching can watch for free, and the education is free, and we'd love to share that information with you. But if you want to be part of the prizes to give away right now, you have to donate at least $10. And for every $10 you donate, your name goes into the pot. And at the end of every demo, we announce the winner. And before the demo, I announced the prizes, and the prize packages are around $2,000 each. Amazing, amazing stuff. And what was even cool is, for me, right before we went live, this was really special. Someone walked in and handed me a card, and the person who handed me this card is Scott Wynn, and he said, here's $100, I love what you're doing. So he actually did this in person, which for me was super special. So obviously those of you watching from all across the world can't do this in person, but for me it means a lot because again, all this money goes to help the homeless, which is a beautiful thing. So we have 6 demos planned today. The first demo will be myself. The second demo will be Jason Otterness wrapping a hood with PPF. The third demo is John Duever and myself talking about the business of wrap, which is very important. So it's like a mini kind of a boot camp for learning how to do that stuff. We have Reiner Lawrence talking about putting PPF on windshield. Very fun demo for that. Scraps for sale, Dimas Brasil and myself show you how to turn your scraps into profit. And the last one is a really good one for me. Is a focus on how to put ceramic coating on a fresh wrap, and that for me is super high profit. So that's what you're going to learn today. And the whole idea is you have a chance to win those amazing prizes. So later on, Jody will be here, and I'll interview Jody. She'll talk about Interfaith. But with that, I think we're pretty much ready to go with demo number 1. So before we go to demo number 1 right now, I want to list the prizes that are available for demo 1. So for you watching right now, this is what's available, and then once the demo is done, we'll announce the winner. So the prizes up for grabs right now are mag straps, 3 boxes of banana buffers, pair of Orful wrap gloves, 1 set of race ramps. I love race ramps for getting that car up. Not only do you get a set of 67-inch race ramps, so it gets the car up about, just the front bumper super easy. You get 1 racer mat, so when you're laying on the floor, it's really comfortable. And you also get 1 block set, so once you get that car up, it's really comfortable. You also get a Weldy heat gun, a Nesotech, 1 whole roll of a Nesotech, and that alone is worth like $900 to $1,000. And you get a 2-year membership on the Wrap Institute, so you get all those tools, and then we show you how to use them effectively. So that's what's up for prize number, the round number 1, the prizes. So for me, super excited. Again, right now, over $12,000 worth of prizes to give away. All of it goes to charity, which I hope you can help out. So with that, why don't we get to demo number 1. I feel like I have a unique perspective of the wrap industry. Been in it for a long time. Not as long as Jim Miller. Jim Miller's been in it since 1978. I started in 1996. But the idea is now, I kind of see how the wrap industry has evolved. It started off very small, and it's just exploded, especially the last few years. PPF, color change, commercial wraps, everything. So not only has the industry expanded, the techniques have changed. And that's the focus for this video right now, is I want to give you a kind of a tour through time in the wrap industry, especially focused on PVC film and stretching, mainly on cars, because car wrapping is something that I've really kind of focused on, and it's been a very interesting evolution. At this point in time, I feel like I'm wrapping better than I ever have. I'm wrapping with literally probably 80 to 90% less energy output of my own to wrap cars. I'm wrapping vehicles way more in one piece, and actually I'm actually having better quality and durability, which is definitely the name of the game, and actually is the sign of any good industry that evolves. It always gets better and more efficient, higher profits, better durability, all that kind of stuff. And the wrap industry has definitely done that, especially with stretching. So what I want to do now, and this car is actually a very good model for this. This is a Toyota Supra 1992. I started wrapping in 1996, and we'll start off how wrapping used to be in 96 and take you all the way to the present, which is zero stretch in the wrap matrix. So before I go back in time to 1996, I want to tell you, kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about in terms of stretch. So right now, since the dawn of time, or since the dawn of wrapping with PVC film, every wrapper has been dealing with stretch and avoiding overstretching. Why? Is everyone's seen this demo, so I'm not going to stick a face through it in this point. Reiner's not going to come through here. But basically, when you wrap anything right now, what is the dynamic that you're dealing with? And this is always a good party trick, is basically you have to heat the film and stretch it because you're wrapping a car. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat it up a little bit, and I'm going to stretch it. Great demo. And this is why PVC film is really cool for wrapping cars, walls, windows, floors, everything. Is it's very conformable. But what is the shadow of that, and what has everyone kind of fought with since car wrapping began, late 93, was this, is that as soon as you stretch the material, what does it want to do? It wants to shrink. So if you take the material too far, it starts to shrink, and then it fails. You get material popping out of recessed areas, lifting on corners, lifting on mirrors, and this can be a very big problem. Or can it? So on this journey through time, you're actually going to see that this stretch is actually a good thing, because there's been really cool innovative techniques within the wrap industry focused on stretch that actually has made wrapping now easier than ever. So with that, why don't we go back to 1996. All right, we are back in 1996, New York City, Manhattan. I am 24 years old, ready to rock and roll. I'm going to be wrapping a car right now. And could I be wrapping a car by myself? Absolutely not. The material back in the day super thick, around 5 to 6 mil thick for the most part, mostly commercial wraps. And the printers cost around $500,000 to $1 million. Printers were super expensive back in the day. So, you know, the material, no air egress, no repositional technology. So any type of car wrap, if you wanted to get done with one car in a day, 2, sometimes 3 installers. So what did you have to do back in the day to get the material on the car? Well, set up a hinge in the middle, flip it over right now. And once you flip it over, how to release the liner, and always super scared of the material touching itself right now because it was very aggressive. So you pull about halfway. Once you get it there, you can start at the top, bring it over. I'll keep on coming through here. And so, you know, for me, I love car wrapping, but it's just a huge challenge. Pulling out the liner here, pull the liner across. Again, super scared of the material touching. Pull it through here, right to there. And this is actually PPF film, but I think it really mimics what film used to be back in the day. Have to cut it with your snitty, take the liner, and now this was the sweaty part right now. Josh, you're gonna hand it to me right there, then you're gonna come to the front. We're actually gonna have to pick it up really high, holding your breath, and if you've done any type of install with this type of material, you know, we're gonna lay it kind of flat. And the idea is right now, we don't want it to touch. I need a squeegee and to create a permanent hinge. So I take my squeegee and lock it right to there. Don't get any wrinkles, super careful. Right now you see some wrinkles building up here, lock it down to here. Once this is set now, there's no way we can let the material just sit on the surface because you see how super tacky it is. If we try to squeegee right now, the chance of getting 16 million bubbles is really high. How do you feel? Very high. Stressed. Super stressed, not super fun to wrap. Then once we take this section off, then we have to wrap the whole thing. So for me back in the day, to wrap a car, let's say Josh and I had to wrap this car, literally it'd be a very hard 8-hour day because one person or 2 people would have to hold it off the car while one person squeegeed. So was it hard to get on the car? Yes, but here's what's interesting about the history of stretch. It was actually hard to overstretch the material because we couldn't just beast it onto the hood or beast it onto a mirror, because if we did, we'd have 16 million bubbles. We'd spend the rest of the day popping them. So back in the day, it was hard to get on, but it was hard to overstretch. Not until 1999, it all changed. Then it became very easy to overstretch the film because of 2 technologies that came into the market. Hey, it's 1999, very cool, and was even cooler. Even though I like Josh a lot, I don't need Josh anymore. You know why? Because wrapping has just gotten much easier. All of a sudden, within 1 year, the material changed. 2 technologies were added, as I mentioned. One, air egress, and the other, repositionable technology. I remember I got my first roll, and I literally, you know, every time you took the material out and you set it on the hood, you're like, oh, I'm done, because it stuck so hard and you have bubbles. But now all of a sudden, the material could slide. That's repositionable technology. And if air was trapped underneath, don't have to poke it with my air release tool. I can now press it away and magic. Holy crap. All of a sudden I was like, all those days and all those, you know, energy I was putting into wrapping a car to avoid bubbles and getting on the car, now wrapping became so easy and straightforward. So now, why did I not need Josh anymore? Is I could do stuff like this. I could take a piece, set it on the hood, and now without even having to put magnets or anything, I could release the liner, kind of get it started here, kind of pull it across. It's a very long hood. I'm going to set it to here, kind of act like an extra set of hands. So I started using the car as like a tool, and I can release the material all the way across. And once the material is here, okay, this is when I discovered triangles. So to avoid overstretching the film, because I used to use heat all the time, especially when the material is more aggressive, I then could use 4 triangles to make glass. So basically I could take the material, pick it up, pull it to the corner, lock it down to here, come back up to here, pick it up. You see even now, see how easily it picks up? I pull to the corner down here, pick it up, pull to the corner down here, and oh, totally amazing. You know what I'm saying? This is by myself. All of a sudden, the hood that used to beast it on in 40 minutes with 2 or 3 people trying to get it on, no bubbles, now it was this easy to glass it out, squeegee it on, good to go. Life was great. I remember a salesperson coming up to me like, you're gonna be out of a job because wrapping cars is gonna be so easy, anyone can do it. Well, it's actually quite the opposite. My workload doubled and tripled because now more and more people are like, wow, wrapping, you can actually do maybe 2 cars a day, 3 cars a day, so more people started asking for car wraps. Cool. Now here's the problem though. This is all about stretch. This was easy to get on because now, no bubbles, I could reposition it. But this made it so easy to wrap, now people were overstretching the film. And also you have to think about the original technology for air egress, you were losing 20 to 30% of that adhesive touching the surface. So actually if you pull too much, that adhesive was so weak, it would start to fail. So here's a good example. Right now, some people would wrap a mirror. This is a very complicated mirror. So, especially if you didn't know anything about stretching or didn't care about it, what a lot of people would do is get the material on the mirror here, you get a bunch of wrinkles and grab the heat gun, heat the material, get it nice and warm, and then stretch it onto the mirror and get it down nice and tight. So pull really hard, heat a lot, and that's what that salesperson was kind of saying. Wrapping's becoming so easy, anyone could do it. Well, of course anyone could do it like this, because think of what I just did here, that trash can demo where the material shrinks back. By heating the material and stretching on the mirror, yeah, it's great. I don't get any bubbles now. That's the air egress feature. It can slide and glide. That's the repositionable technique feature. But now, because of the nature of PVC film, when I cut it, what am I going to get? Well, in this case, I'm going to get fingers or bottle capping. Boom. Okay, this was the big problem. So, in 1996, wrapping became easier, but in many ways it became harder because now it was much easier to overstretch the film. So, installers before didn't have any failures on mirrors because it was harder to get to the edge, but now because it's so easy, now the material is lifting from the edge after 2 weeks or even 2 days. This was a big problem. And this was the advent, interestingly enough, of people using adhesive promoter all over the car, which was for me, actually I started doing back in the day because I was told by the manufacturers, put a little bit of adhesive promoter on the edge, that'll help it hold. That's because the air egress was so weak. But in 2008, the air egress features got better. People in Europe started using air egress features, because keep in mind that in 1999, air egress features were allowed in America, but not in Europe. But in 2008, they were, and all of a sudden, installers started using it, wrapping became easier, they saw this issue, and this is when they had the first evolutionary step in how to approach stretching to avoid overstretching and make wrapping easier, and that is pre-stretch, 2008. So let's go to 2008. All right, not only am I in 2008, I'm actually in a different time zone. I'm now in Germany. So in 2008 in Germany, pre-stretch began. A group of installers took a negative and turned it into positive. And what was the negative? Well, at least for me, and I think I can speak for everyone else at the time, everyone thought the fact that the material shrank when you stretched it was a bad thing. But this group of installers was like, it's actually a good thing. Why? Because instead of stretching this way, they stretch it in a different way. Watch. Took a heat gun, picked the material up, and what they did is they added heat to that piece. So, adding heat, making the piece very, 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 very hot, then stretching it. So, stretching it generally around 20 to 40%. And you can see that I put a lot of my own energy into the material to make it stretch like this. So heat, stretch a lot, and then let it cool in this new shape. And if I wrap the car with this right now, what would it do? It would fail. But they thought, well, just put a lot of energy into the film, and then if you take this now and put it on a very difficult object like a mirror, kind of hold it away, something like this, get it in roughly the right position now, and take your time. It's all about getting in the sweet spot right now. But right now, okay, by stretching the material, I put energy in it. But that energy is a good thing because I'm going to add heat to trigger the memory effect. So watch. So instead of making the heat material shrink, let's say during or while I'm wrapping it, now the material just with the heat shrinks onto the mirror. So I put energy in to start it, to stretch it, but now by triggering the memory now, it shrinks onto the car. I mean, even now I can feel it where it's just sucking right onto the mirror. Wow, total game changer. Really made wrapping mirrors easier. I remember when I first tried this, literally the German installer one of the German installers who invented this, came a month after he invented this technique. I was teaching a workshop for 3M in the Netherlands, and he said, I got this great new technique, we call it pre-stretch, showed it on a mirror, and I was just I think my eyeballs popped out of my skull. It was really crazy because you basically wrapped a perfect mirror in a minute and a half, where before, up to that point, I was really working the mirror trying to get the material on. Now he did that before and the material did all the work afterwards. Pre-stretch, total game changer. But here's the problem with pre-stretch. It's really only good with mirrors. It's only good with matte, satin, gloss finishes. It's not good with textured film. It's not really good with full print film. So it was a great idea. It was using turning a negative into a positive, but it was limited because you can't really do it on a bumper, maybe do it on a door handle, but for the most part, only on mirrors and only with certain materials. But it actually sparked a lot of light bulbs. They're popping off all across the world as soon as people started to see this. And the big next evolution in stretch in the wrap industry came in 2011, and that was in Japan with Koji Nito. So why don't we go there? Arigato. So now it is 2011, and this is when cold stretch was developed, and it was developed by Koji and Ito, two great installers based in Japan. Now the story is that in 2011, a trainer from Hexus was in Japan, and when he was giving a car demonstration, he showed pre-stretch, which is what I just showed you. Heating, stretching the material 20 to 40% and shrinking it back. And Japanese always are very good with seeing someone does and then what someone does and innovating and making it a little better. So they liked the idea of pre-stretch, they saw that it was limited, but they saw the potential for it as the idea of stretching the material and shrinking it back to wrap the harder bits of the car. Now, so basically the idea is this. So instead of stretching the material with heat before and then shrinking, they actually just stretched it at room temperature. So the idea is this. You can see some tension on the corners. The idea then is from, let's say, this body line, instead of getting the material to the corner and then heat it and trying to fight the tension there, well, you do it ahead of time. So you pick the material up, you hook the corner, get it nice and deep, spread the tension out. Come back over here. You pick the material up, let it breathe, you hook the corner, and recently I've started saying that it's like making a bed. So you get the material down, and in this case, cold pre-stretch involves stretching the material, let's say 3 to 5%, something like that. So as I did stretch it from the body line a little bit, but then the idea now is that tension that was at the top is now at the bottom, and you stretch it a little bit. So that means if you take heat, and I see some tension here, because it's touching the other side, so I'm going to take that tension away to there. The idea now is all I have to do is take some heat now and shrink it. And what does it do? It shrinks to the corner. Same thing here, where I take some heat and it shrinks. So it's the same logic as what I started this demo off with. You heat, stretch material, it shrinks back, but now, instead of doing it ahead of time, you're now kind of doing it during, where now you can actually cut the corners because you heated and shrank them. You can cut the corners flush, boom, amazing corner game. Get it to here and done. So cut it across to here, cut it across to here, and I really, I remember it so clearly to this day, coming into the workshop, Koji and Ito coming up to me, trying to explain it because they didn't speak really great English. I don't speak Japanese, but again, once I understood this, I was like, oh my God. So now you're hooking the corners, shrinking. This is great for corners, door handles, mirrors, bumpers. This for me was one of the biggest evolutions in terms of approaching stretch with PVC film, because now you could do it during the flow of the install. My install times were dropping like a stone. My corner game was super strong. It was a win-win. This really lowered my install time by 15–20% on most cars. My corner game was better. Life was great, and what's even cooler though is I was using less energy to wrap cars. I could basically hook the corner of everything I'm wrapping, shrink those corners, and then be out. It was really amazing. So this I used from 2011 till 2021. This cold pre-stretch was for me the biggest evolution in terms of stretch. But then in 2001, the Wrap Institute introduced zero stretch and the Wrap Matrix. And for me, this is even the biggest step in the evolution of stretch because it makes wrapping easier and better. Cool. So now let's go back 1 year to 2021. 2021, zero stretch and Wrap Matrix. What was the conception of this technique? Well, heart of COVID, had some time at the Wrap Institute. Reiner and I were playing around with material and just talking about the properties of it. PVC film, shrinking, and everyone knows that calendar film naturally shrinks by itself, sometimes 2 to 6%. I always knew that. I was always told, and this was the myth I always believed for years, was that cast film never shrinks by itself. You take it off the liner, you start at 0 and go from there. But then Reiner and I were playing with cast film and we realized cast film shrinks naturally as well. actually sometimes quite a bit. And then all of a sudden we had that light bulb moment, and that's when zero stretch was born. So I have two pieces of material right now, and one thing that's very important to understand about zero stretch is you have to oftentimes think about that piece of how it's going to go on the body in relation to the roll and how it comes off. Interesting. This roll was made by the, made at the manufacturing plant, and when it was stretched really long lengthwise, not so much widthwise. So oftentimes you have to think about that. So this material, sometimes I look at the logo on the liner and I shrink the material based on that. So I know that this piece and this piece are naturally going to shrink the most left to right. So here we go. I'm going to take the Avery, pull it off the liner right now, place it to here, liner side face up, place it exactly on the backing paper right now. And once I get it set, I'm going to get it right in position right to there. It's got the hood, it's kind of making a slide, but for the most part it's good. I'll button that up before I stretch it. Take the piece off here, and this is a calendar film. This is an Exotech. I'm going to place it up to here, place it exactly on the liner. So in most cases, and again for 25 years, I pretty much thought every time I pull the material off the liner, if I don't add heat or put my own energy into the film material, it's at zero. Cool. So now it's exactly on each backing paper, left to right. So I'm just really making sure it's precise. Cool. Cool. Now, okay, right now the material is lined up perfectly on the liner. So technically, I'm at zero, right? So I'm going to first start with Avery. Heat gun is on the highest setting. So instead of just kind of heating randomly and pulling, I'm actually going to heat very methodically. I'm slowly going to go back and forth, keep the angle of my heat gun at about a 45-degree angle. And what I'm doing in my head right now is I'm recalibrating the film. So because during the manufacturing process, even with cast film, it was stretched a little bit. So I heat it to here, and what I'm doing, for me, I call this a time machine too, just like this demo. Is by heating the film, I'm going back in time to when, before this material was made into vinyl. This particular material was organosol, and it was in a big steel drum. So I take it to there, and as you can already see, I'll pull this out right to here just a little bit. Cool. And as you can see right now, the material shrank about 1/8 of an inch here and about 1/8 of an inch here. Well, let's see what this Exotech does, which is mostly calendar film. So I'm now going to take the heat gun and go back and forth and see what happens. Now, if you know anything about material right now, cast film starts off as a liquid, then it's made onto vinyl, it's laid on the sheets. Calendar film starts off as a solid and is stretched out into a sheet. So naturally, calendar film will shrink more tension in it naturally. So by adding heat right now, you can see what the material is already doing, shrinking a lot. So I'm coming to the side here, and cool. So now I'm gonna see if I can flare this out a little bit, take it back and fold it just a little bit under. But if I take it to the edge right now, see how much more the calendar film shrank than the cast film. This is about 1/8 of an inch. This is a solid 1/4 inch on both sides. So this material shrank a lot naturally. So as soon as I saw Reiner saw that, it's like we looked at each other and we're like, oh my God, this is amazing. Because this is almost like finding an oil field in your backyard, or finding just electrical energy that just always is there. In the sense that now, all of a sudden we realize the material already has natural energy built into it. We can harness that, and that'll actually wrap the entire car for us. Boom, that's zero stretch and the wrap matrix. So for me, this was amazing because now, even with cold pre-stretch, I put my own energy into it. With pre-stretch, I put a lot of my own energy into it. Now, I don't have to. So now I want to show you a quick demo on the Fender so you really understand this and why zero stretch for me is a super evolution in terms of approaching stretch on cars, because now wrapping is easier and better than ever. Let's go to the Fender. So what I want to do right now is show you a very quick and dirty way of how to use zero stretch on mirrors, door handles, and bumpers, because zero stretch like this works very good on kind of small to medium-sized pieces. So on this backlight, I'm wrapping it with Lux. Lux is a great material for tinting lights. It's cast, has air egress, and normally on the Wrap Institute we've made around 30 videos on how to use this product. I pull it off the liner thinking I'm at zero, and then I wrap it. But now with zero stretch, I just make a slight adjustment and wrap it essentially the same way. So now I take the piece off the liner, and here I'm on the car. Don't have to go to a table. Lay it with the liner side face up, adhesive side here, and all I do is zero stretch it. Heat gun on the maximum setting right now, and all I'm going to do right now is just kind of heat the material and go back and forth. And even though this is cast, and during the manufacturing process, I don't think they stretched it more than 2%. Right now, I'm taking that 2% out right before I start wrapping the light. So I go back and forth, very easy and straightforward. And again, notice that I'm overlapping the heat from side to side. I always like to start in the middle, go to one side, do the exact same thing and go to the other. So this for me is no different than starting the day off. You want to have stretch in the morning, take a little bit of the tension out from your sleep, start the day fresh. Well, now I'm starting the material fresh as well. Again, how long did that take? Just a few seconds. Then I essentially wait for the material to cool. Then, once it cools and gets back to room temperature now, I take it with the liner in this case, and I can actually set it here, which creates body so it doesn't fold on itself. I can pull the liner out, now watch. So basically I just come down to here and squeegee it onto this section here. And normally I'd use a little bit of heat with Lux. So right now, because the material is so relaxed right now, I can pick it up nice and high. I can hook the corner to here, tack it on the body side, pick it up down to here, tack it on the body side, and voila. No heat needed, and this speeds up my install. So by doing zero stretch, I am using heat at the beginning, and it does take a few seconds, but for me, it makes wrapping this light super, super quick, because now I can easily pick it up, take it to here, kind of focus on this upper section, set it to here, and again, keep in mind that with zero stretch and the wrap matrix, I'm using basically the same techniques that I used before. I'm still using a little bit of triangles. I'm still using cold pre-stretch. But the main thing is I take the tension out and go back to my normal techniques. So I can get inside here. This is all tucked in nice and easy and straightforward. Come back here, spread it out on the corner, work away, again, triangle shape, take the material down. And I'm telling you, just that little tension that's taken out by zero stretching at the beginning allows me just to relax the material. It's like a totally different material than one if I had kept it off, took it off the liner and just wrapped it without zero stretching. It'd be a little stiffer and grumpier. Now, super relaxed, it does exactly what I want to do in really good install time. Now I'm making more money because my install time is lower, my quality is higher because there's less tension in the film. So with that, let's go to the front fender. All right, now we are ready for zero stretch and the wrap matrix, combining them on this front fender. Works really good, and I'm by myself, but what's interesting is in 1996, I definitely needed one or two other installers, so I needed Josh. And now for zero stretch and wrap matrix, I need Josh again, but it's actually someone that's not gonna take too much of my time. It's actually gonna accelerate my install time, so it's actually a win-win, which is great. So Josh, why don't you come on over? So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna stretch this material out. So we're gonna take the whole backing paper off. You're going over here. Take this out. Cool. So then the idea is with zero stretch, and if you just do zero stretch like I just did on the back light, all you do is heat the material, shrink it, and you can do that definitely by yourself. But now, okay, the wrap matrix, this is a very complicated fender. What Josh and I are going to do is we're going to pull the material very hard to ourselves, kind of stretch it horizontally, and then we'll get it in place. Back up to me a little bit, Josh, and then bring it to the cart. Cool. Okay. So now by doing that, always what I want to think about is, back in the day, when I first started, especially when I had area regress and repositionable techniques, that's when I discovered triangles, 4 triangles. But right now, I want to see 4 pyramids. So reading the wrinkles right now, these wrinkles look fairly the same. This looks a little sharp, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up the material just a little bit to here, and I'm going to pull it a little harder towards me to even those out. That feels really good. And now, okay, we didn't pull too hard, just pulled a little bit. And now, that zero stretch mentality is we kind of created that shape, tension in the film a little bit, and now we're going to shrink the material. So what, you come on over here, and this is what's going to do all the heavy lifting now. This is what's the beauty of zero stretches. Right now, if we come down here, we have the material to set on the body line right to there. So we're set. So now I'm just going to pick up the material lightly and zero stretch it. So we got the material right to here, bring it across. Cool. Now, going to put the heat gun on the highest setting and basically just allow this to kind of be the squeegee. So I'm not just heating the material to heat it, I'm heating to shrink it. And the trick right now is we're kind of allowing the material to kind of swing into the car. So we're not pulling at all, we're just kind of guiding, which is really cool. And you can see how the material is literally just kind of sucking to the surface right now. So get it past this raised object to here. And again, look how it's just really glassing out, and glass means go. And now, right now, we can take the material and right to here, we can kind of fluff it down to here, and to here, again, not stretching, just kind of guiding it to the surface, and voila. And this is what I would normally squeegee this out, nice and easy, and that area regress works for us. Cool, so this pyramid's done. Why don't we come over here and do this one? Same shape. So right here on the body line, lock it in this case, all the way across to here. Lock it on that edge. And now this is the focus. So we lightly pick it up right to where the tension starts with those wrinkles. But again, look at our hands. Not pulling, allowing the material now kind of to zero stretch. So the whole beauty of this right now is the material is actually shrinking into the curve. And all we do is just to kind of hold it off the surface, and you can see it shrink into the car. And I just kind of shimmy it down to here, squeeze it on, no bubbles. Pretty darn easy, yeah?
So easy.
Now we come on over here, and if you want to stand here, again, keep on thinking, this is the heat gun. What's cool here is there's a recessed area here, and watch what I do. I'm going to hold the material away, and I'm actually going to heat the material. It's actually going to shrink the material into the recessed area. And I'm going to come out of it. So literally the material just goes straight into this recessed area. I wait for it to cool. I could push those bubbles out. So once this is done now, we can come back here, see some tension here. And this is really critical for zero stretch, is make that relief cut. Pick it up right to here, and now pull slightly back while we shrink it. Yeah, and lay it towards the surface. It's pretty crazy. Incredible. So we're not actually doing anything right now other than letting the material just kind of be guided to the surface. Let this bubble go, cool. And then we just do the same towards the front. I guess we might as well finish the front right now. So right here, again, reading the wrinkles, picking the material up. First, let it shrink into the recessed area. And you can see how it just kind of literally shrinks into that gap. Kind of like the palm technique now. So once it comes out to here, cool. I can lay it down. In this case, I'm going to come take my squeegee, pick it up, and then just basically feed it down here. One nice, even squeegee stroke. And what's great about this technique is it definitely avoids a lot of adhesive lines. Pick it up from here, and no stress. So right here, again, not holding, not stretching the material, just kind of guiding it to the surface and letting it go down. And for me, I was never a big fan of using heat, because I always felt like if I use heat, I overstretch. But the weird thing is now, and this is where zero stretch becomes really trippy, is using heat a lot to shrink the material onto the car. So it's a very 3D logic. There's a whole series on the Rapid Suit. We wrap a Nissan Skyline GTR, kind of very similar to this car, funky car, with an Ezotech. Very challenging film to wrap with normal techniques, but with zero stretch around matrix. If you see Tim after every shot was a high-fiving, and I think if we wrapped the car, we'd be high-fiving too.
Yep.
Because right now, how hard did we work?
Hardly at all.
Because again, right now, what's working now is the heat. The material is shrinking the material for us, and that for me is really kind of advanced wrapping, which is great. Because at the end of the day, I feel like I could go to the gym and work out because I have enough energy to do it. Because I'm not putting it into the film. The film has the energy in it already, which is cool.
Exactly.
Awesome stuff. That's zero stretch in the wrap matrix. All right, that concludes demo number 1 of the TWI live stream. I hope you enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed giving the demo. It was very educational as you went back in time and saw the evolution of stretch in regards to PVC film and wrapping cars. But what is cooler than this demo is giving away prizes and helping the homeless. So now I'm going to join Levi and Anthony right now and announce the winner of prize number 1. Hey, so Anthony and Levi are back in the studio, so I'm going to announce this prize solo, and Lisa's doing all the calculations for all the people who have donated money so far, and right now we're at over 3,500 in donations right now, so big thank you for that. I know Jody from Interfaith is super happy about that. So hope you picked up a lot of great information, and before we announce the prize winners, I know Dane has been asking and getting a lot of questions from people. Dane, do you have any questions that we can answer right now before we announce the prize winner?
Those up here. I have got, okay, I'll start kind of chronological here.
Sure.
I'll pull up Cody, which I believe the comments are going on the side of the screen. Sorry, Lisa, you just got covered. Yeah, so Cody here asking, when choosing a vinyl wrap for your brand of car, does it matter, or are all wraps universal? For example, Subarus are known for their soft paint and softer head gaskets.
Interesting. So, you know, it really doesn't. What's really important is understanding the paint and the quality of the paint before you go live, in the sense that most manufacturers, if it's OEM paint in good quality, that means no rock chips, no scratches, no damage to the clear coat, they'll give a warranty for that paint if it's OEM. If it's not OEM paint, then there's an issue and there's a chance that that paint might come off. So it's really the main thing is determining that. In terms of the wrap film going on, for the most part, most wrap films, whether it's calendar cast, whether, you know, different types of brands, they're all different, but for the most part, they should all hold the same, basically the same type of adhesive in terms of long-term durability and hold.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so next up I've got Cody also following up just saying, this is very well produced. He was really enjoying the process, seeing that in your video segment was great there, Justin.
Okay, awesome.
And then followed here, he's asking another, he wants to know about rust. Does it affect the wrap? Will the coloration bleed through the wrap over time?
The color of the rust won't go through the wrap film. All wrap film should have an opacity barrier, so that should block any of the color. It's main thing with hold. So basically you can put, I mean, for a basic technique, if you just want to get it on and don't really care about the fact that it might look not so great underneath the film, once you put it on, you could have actually put an adhesive promoter on the rust, wrap over it, and it should hold okay. But I'd recommend wet sanding it down, getting it down nice and smooth, maybe putting a one coat of primer on it, letting that dry properly, and then you can wrap over top, and that for me is the best bet, for sure.
Okay, so it's mostly the shape that you're getting through there is
Exactly.
the worst part. Okay.
Yep.
And then I've got Alex Duever here asking, question for Justin, are there any tools you feel could come into the industry that would help that don't currently exist? Something you think that could become an industry standard but isn't yet?
You know, it's funny, in 2016 I gave a speech on the future of car wrapping, and part of that, during that demo I said, you know, what I envision is when nanotechnology develops is they're going to put nanotechnology in the film, and then once you wrap something, anything that's not touching a solid, you could put a charge in the film, and then that film, anything would fall off that's not touching a solid. So that would be, I guess, a tool that I hope comes out soon, because that would make it super easy.
Okay, excellent. Well, that's the extent of the serious questions. I know I got a lot of people just kind of chit-chatting and really just enjoying the content, so I wanted to make sure and throw that out there. A lot of happy birthday wishes as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, all sent your way there. But I guess we can kick it over to Lisa and see how things are going over here. How's it going, Lisa?
It's going.
Lisa is busy. So I think, Lisa, I think right now we could actually announce the winner. Actually, one thing I'd like to say before you announce the winner, in terms of zero stretch right now, I really hope you can wrap your head around it. I was on the Wrap Society the other day, you know, I always check in there, and one of my favorite installers, I was teaching a workshop in Adelaide, Australia years ago, and Spiro took the workshop, and he made a post just recently where we had a series on the Wrap Institute where we talked about zero stretch and using it like we did with the Lux on the lights, and just taking that tension out before you wrap a mirror, a door handle. And he was like saying it's a total game changer right now, so I hope you can incorporate that in your routine. So with that being said, Lisa, I think we're ready to announce the winner of round number 1. Cool prizes.
Okay, hold on. I'm getting one last entry in real
Making
fast.
sure everybody is accounted for in there. So.
Really trying. You guys are like bringing them in fast.
It's a good problem to have, though.
It is.
I think it's definitely
Thank you
a
for
good
that.
thing.
Well, actually, I'm going to buy you some time, Lisa, in the sense that I hope you guys appreciate why we put the prices together in this way. Most people, a lot of people complain about a Nesotech and say Nesotech is hard to wrap on a car. And when we first made the videos with the Nesotech, it was hard to get on if you use traditional techniques. But the last series that we did with the Nesotech, when we wrapped that Nissan GTR, we used Zero Stretch and the Wrap Matrix, total game changer. And what's really important in that is having a heat gun, and that's why we chose Weldy, super durable heat gun. So if you have Weldy and the Nesotech, great combination, and that's why we put this price kit together. So, Lisa, did I buy you enough time?
You bought me enough time. We're good right now. Okay.
Cool.
So this is my beautiful giveaway jar. Isn't it lovely?
I thought it was a hat, but we're good.
It could be. We could try that on Dane
It's
later.
decorative enough, I would say. But yeah,
that's
we
great.
got a bunch of raffle tickets.
Yes,
dropped in
a
there.
ton. We've had at least 150 entries so far.
Nice.
Excellent.
So our first prize is the mag strips.
Actually, this is a full kit. They get everything all at once.
The whole kit.
Yes, they do.
One drawing.
Of course they
So they're
do.
going to get all these tools.
It's awesome. Okay. So that one is going to go to
Ooh.
number 50. Let me check my little list here.
And there's a little
Ooh.
cross matrix here with a number associated with each name. So that way you can make
Yes.
sure you have it covered.
Yes,
There's-
thank you.
There's a lot of barriers there.
So that is going to T. Palea.
Okay.
I believe it's called. If I mispronounce any names, I am truly sorry. I don't know why they gave me this job.
You're good.
So-
You're doing great.
Congrats, T.
So Tia just won $1,980 worth of tools. Congratulations. Awesome stuff. And thank you for your donation. It really means a lot.
Yes,
So congratulations.
super awesome.
Very
Excellent,
cool.
Thank you.
So that means I think, yeah, anything else, Lisa?
We got 3 boxes of banana buffers.
Yep. Oh, actually,
no,
this is one kit. They actually just won all.
Oh,
those
she gets the
prices
whole
on one.
thing.
whole
That's how
shebang.
cool that price is.
Congrats, team. Jeez.
All good.
Yeah, all good. Super cool. So I think that's we're done with demo number 1. So what I'd like to do now is announce the prices for demo number 2 and then what that demo is going to be about. So demo number 2, here are the prices for up for grabs. So even if you've already donated, if you like the sound of these prizes, the more times your name goes in the pot, the better your chances of winning. So far, again, we're around $3,500, almost $4,000 of donations. Awesome. So thank you. So the prizes for round number 2 are banana buffers, 3 boxes, Orful wrap glove, 2 pairs, 1 roll of Avery Dennison Neo black PPF, and I love that for making black gloss hoods and roofs because it was really super durable. And we actually have Dave Timmerman here. I don't know if Dave, you want to get on camera and say hi, because again, we love to have special guests on screen. Dave Timmerman is one of my favorite reps for Avery Dennison. You used to be a tech rep, and now you're a sales rep, right, Dave?
Yep, that is right.
Awesome. So Dave, Avery Dennison Neo, really popular in terms of that gloss black.
Yeah, just super shine, deep black, and it looks excellent when you want to two-tone a car.
Yeah, because I've been teaching workshops for Avery for now 10 years, and we've talked about durability and stuff like that. You're in Utah, a lot of sun UV. If you use normal PVC film, it's good, but it only has like that horizontal warranty of 2 years. How long does Neo have?
Neo's got 5.
Yeah.
5 years horizontal, which is the bomb, especially anything facing the sun.
Yeah, so it's got that super deep black, really good stuff. So it's cool, and it's love to have you part of the event. It's awesome.
Yeah,
you guys
you.
are great supporters of the
Great to be here. Keep donating, everybody.
Awesome, cool. Thank you, Dave.
Thank
Cool.
you, Justin.
So again, you got that roll of Neo, and that alone is worth $1,200 that roll. Then we have a 2-year membership at the Wrap Institute, 1 set of Wrap Company towels, and they actually created a cool set of towels for the Wrap Institute that cover everything from cleaning to PPF to tint. So you got that. 1 pod steamer, because pod steamers work really well with installing PPF, and that total of this prize is $2,080. So that's up for grabs in demo number 2. And what is demo number 2 about is, well, it's one of my favorite people in the industry, and it's not necessarily the wrap industry as we know it, it's kind of more PPF and detailing, and it's Jason Otterness from Chicago Auto Pros out in Chicago, obviously. And Jason is a great guy, really is great on Instagram and social media and YouTube. We have a great channel there. And in the wrap industry, 3M trainer in Los Angeles, Adam Sumner, definitely has the best beard in the industry for commercial and color change wraps, but the best beard in the PPF industry goes to Jason Otterness, and he's going to do a demo right now on how to wrap a hood with PPF. So with that, let's get to Jason.
Thanks, Justin. Happy birthday. We're not going to sing. That's terrible. We won't put you through that. Happy birthday, Justin. We're happy to be here. Jason E-Man from Chicago Auto Pros. In today's video, we're going to teach you, we're not going to teach you, we're going to guide you. Tips, tricks on how to install paint protection film on a hood. We have a pre-cut kit with some wrapped edges. We're not going to wrap the corners. We're not going to get that fancy, but this is a standard pre-cut with the wrapped edges, and we're going to install it on this Subaru Forester?
Legacy,
whatever.
Yes,
Let's get started, huh?
yeah. All right, so first thing we want to do is we want to pop the hood, and we're going to clean all the edges underneath. So one of the reasons why we want to clean all these edges is because we're going to wrap these edges.
Yep.
And the cleaner they are, the more likely then the film is going to stick down, right? It's going to stick a lot better instead of it was just like a dirty car.
Yeah, you don't want dirt in the install. It's
No
clear
dirt.
film.
Yes. If we have any dirt, it's going to magnify, it's going to look even worse, right?
Okay, so I'm going to clean this with a microfiber and
Some
what's
IP.
the best thing to clean it with?
So we're going to use the microfiber, we're going to use some IPA.
IPA? Beer?
IPA, isopropyl alcohol.
Drinking?
Yes, sir.
It is Justin's birthday. Let's celebrate.
Let me get those bottles.
All right, while he's going to get those bottles, I'm sure you've already heard, if you make a $10 donation, you're going to be entered in to win one of the great prizes that Justin is giving away. Right after we're done with showing you this install, Justin's going to announce another prize winner. So go right now, just pause it. Can you pause it? It's live. You can't pause it. Just go make a donation. Get entered. This is alcohol, IPA. Yes, it is. All right, going to clean these edges here. One of the most important things when installing paint protection film, especially clear paint protection film, you want this as clean as possible. So we have already cleaned this hood. We've used a clay bar to remove any contaminants. I like to do a light polish just to make sure everything's off there. It just gives me a little bit of an idea to look at the paint to make sure that there's not any defects, because if there is any defects, or if there's any contamination on the paint, you're going to see that through the film. It's going to accentuate whatever defects on there. So we want this as flat as possible. So what are the tools we need before we get ready for this?
Okay, so right now I'm just putting down some clamps so we can hold the film down while we lift it up off this liner.
Cool.
There's a couple things we're going to need. We're going to need soap and water, isopropyl alcohol and water, a couple spray bottles, some tanks. We could use tanks to spray down the hood so we can get tons of saturation. We'll need some squeegees, and then a lot of faith. We're good.
Faith.
Yeah.
This is the isopropyl alcohol mixture. What is this mixed at?
This is a 1-to-4 ratio.
Okay. 1 part alcohol, 4 parts water.
Yes.
Any special water that you use?
It doesn't require you to use any special water, but you can use distilled water if you want.
Okay. So, Justin, I haven't seen you wear one of these, but we'll get you one because this is sick. Little chest pack here. I used to wear the waist ones when I was window tinting, but you'd always have that, and if you lean over the car, your waist pack is right here, and you don't want to scratch the car. So this little chest pack is nice. Everything's right here. Got all your tools, your squeegees. Look at how much you can carry in here. Your squeegees, your knives, your AirPods, a pen if you need it, your little snap blade. Everything's right in here. And if anybody else wants to find them, you can find them at carsupplieswarehouse.com. All right, squeegees. We need a squeegee, right?
Yes, sir.
These are nice.
These are the Black Hornets.
Ooh. Is this like, there's 3 different like materials here?
Yeah, so there's 3 different diameters on here. We got a hard diameter, which is the yellow.
Yep.
The middle that holds it all together, and then we have a softer side.
Okay.
On the black side.
That's really cool.
So I like using the black side because it glides really nicely on top of these hoods. And then I like using the yellow side in case I gotta push something really hard, like get some moisture out of there.
Okay.
I'll use this side.
Killer.
But this is where it's at.
Love it.
Okay, so we prepped it, we washed it, clayed it, cleaned it underneath it.
Yep.
Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna wipe off the surface of the pre-cut film.
Okay.
And we're just gonna try to get as much as this dust or contamination off of there.
Working clean. That is the key, right?
That's the key. The key to a good install is a clean surface, clean work area.
It's like painting the house. It's all in the prep. These towels are super nice because they don't leave any lint. They're the 245 towels. You can buy them at the Red Company.
Yeah, super inexpensive.
Yep.
Great for PBF. All right, so we're just gonna lift the film.
Okay.
Get some moisture underneath. We want to lift as a team. Lift and spray. Lift and spray, put it back down. Do the same for the back side. There we go, perfect.
Okay.
Cool. Let's go ahead and spray down the hood.
All right.
So we're gonna start at the bottom, spray down this way, flushing everything off of the hood.
Start at the bottom?
Start at the top. So we're gonna start at the top, and we're gonna flush this whole surface.
Okay.
Getting all the dust off. Great. Cool. Let's go ahead and pick up the film. Grab your 2 corners.
Now this is nice because we have 2 people, but how do you do this by yourself?
So doing it by yourself is a lot harder.
Yeah.
Definitely doable. But when you're doing it like that, instead of having the table, you would back roll the film. You would tack it here, back roll the film on that way.
Okay.
It's a lot harder. It's a lot easier to get contamination under the film as well. I find this is super easy, and if you have a second set of hands, it's super quick.
All right, alcohol bottle?
Alcohol bottle. So what we're gonna start is we're gonna start in this top left corner.
Yep.
You start in that top corner, I'm gonna start in this corner.
Okay.
We are gonna line up the 2 notches around the corners. We're wrapping 0.5 that way, and we're wrapping 0.5 that way, right?
Okay, got it.
So you wanna find a good median between those 2.
So I'll just lift this corner up and spray a little alcohol. That will tack the film.
So you have your corner tacked, I'm gonna go ahead and tack mine.
Okay.
When you're tacking these corners, you wanna do 2 to 4 inches tack, and that should be perfect. All right, so here's the deal when doing hoods.
Yeah.
tack your 2 corners, and then you have to stretch. You have to do a slight stretch
Yep.
to get to your next notched piece.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're using your whole arm like
I'm gonna,
that.
yeah, so that's just one of the tricks. So normally people just grab this and they try to pull it down, and you can do that.
Yeah.
What I like to do is I like to use my whole forearm,
Yeah.
and once I use my whole arm, I get that to my desired location, and then I can tack it down. So we call this floating, when the film is just completely loose in the middle, it hasn't tacked anywhere, it hasn't tacked on any of these high ridges.
Uh-huh.
The film is just floating on top of the hood right now.
All right, so you want me to tack this?
Yeah, so
line
let's
up?
go ahead and tack this corner.
Okay.
Okay, now that we have our 4 corners, our 4 anchor points,
Yep.
the next thing to do is to, let's make sure it's still floating. It's not tacked on any of these high ridges. Assess how the film is sitting. Like right here, the film is pulling into the hood a little bit.
Yep.
We're going to be wrapping 0.5. So we are going to have to pull this down a little bit. And we're going to
Okay.
make sure we have 0.5 on the back. We're going to make sure we have 0.5 on the sides. I'd like to just tack the front a little bit. So we're going to pull it down to about 0.5, which is right there. Go ahead and tack that. We're going to release it. We do have this big finger that's on top.
Yeah.
What we're going to do is we're going to pull the sides down a little bit. So right in the middle between our 2 first tacks, we're going to pull that down towards us.
Yep.
And we're going to tack that small area right there. We're going to create another anchor point in the middle. By doing that, it should make these top fingers a little bit easier and more manageable.
Okay.
The first steps are critical. These are the most important steps. This is what will allow us the ease of install. If we hadn't done these tack points, this could be a lot harder, but it's definitely going to be a lot easier now. And we still have a couple fingers up here. Here's what we're going to do. Instead of having push the film towards me, instead of having one giant finger here,
Yeah.
we're going to try to break up this finger into multiple fingers across the hood, dispersing the film. It'll make the install 10 times easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this down the middle.
Okay. That's
Yep.
your half and my half?
Yes, sir. And we're going to start moving these fingers down the side a little bit.
Okay.
Now with those high ridges, you're going to want to work those before you go any further. So yeah, so that high ridge, we're going to start pulling all the moisture from the middle.
And we're pressing pretty hard right now, right?
Yeah, so I have a good amount of pressure.
Just to get all that moisture out.
The main reason why we use alcohol, or the isopropyl alcohol, is because it dries out the soap really fast. So in this instance, when we have all these small fingers, we'll spray a bunch of alcohol underneath. We'll squeegee the film. I like to hold the backside of the film off the hood in a downward angle while I squeegee. That way, we're helping the film grab that edge. And we're ready to continue. Can I grab one of those towels, please?
Oh, fell on the ground.
Do it again. I want to catch it. Do it one more time. One more.
I think I'm just a bad thrower.
Okay, that one was good. We're about 75% done. All the moisture's gone. The edges are ready to wrap. We're gonna pop the hood, grab a couple heat guns. We're gonna introduce heat underneath. You don't have to use a heat gun, but it speeds up the process 10 times. We've already cleaned underneath, so we know that's good. I'm gonna grab the heat guns.
Did you make your donation yet? Go do it.
How much is a donation?
$10.
$10?
And for every $10, you get another entry. So if you do $50, you get 5 entries.
And what do we get for the entries?
A bunch of prizes.
Bunch of cool prizes?
$10,000 worth of prizes.
All right, so here's your heat gun.
Okay.
I'm gonna set it at a low setting because PPF and heat don't mix too well.
Right.
We're just trying to dry the water out. We're not trying to burn the film. So we're
Okay.
gonna put this at a very low setting. We're gonna start to heat up these edges and try to roll this film over.
You could probably just let this sit here while you do the rest of the car, couldn't you?
Yeah,
Let it
normally.
dry.
Yeah, so you want to work smart, right? So while we do the hood and let it dry, I would come and do this fender. By the time I'm done with the fender, so let's say 10-15 minutes, boom, the hood is dry. I can
Yeah.
begin to wrap those edges. By the time I'm done with that, my fender edges are done, and boom, we're moving.
I know there's different installs there, so we used a pattern here, and we extended the edges. So you could take a pattern and go right to the edge,
Yeah,
and you wouldn't have to do this step.
no.
It'd probably be done. But we're gonna wrap the edges just for that level up look and a little more protection. But you could also bulk this hood.
Yeah, so our preferred method is bulk.
Yeah.
Bulk allows us to minimize the amount of tension across the hood throughout the whole hood.
Yep.
We had a couple big fingers that were in the backside, a couple big fingers that were on the sides. If you bulk the whole piece, you can glass it, which is not having any of those fingers right off the start. We can do the whole hood and finish it. Then we have to trim it all out.
Okay. Some extra steps there then.
So there's a couple extra steps, but you get a beautiful finish. You get the best install. When you do a bulk install as well, you can start to wrap corners. You could do the 2 front corners, the 2 back corners. You can really make it look seamless and beautiful.
Nice.
It's like there's nothing there, really.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull out one of my favorite cards. This is a window tinting cards, and I have a small strip of Teflon tape. This allows the squeegee to just glide on the PPF really nicely. And while I heat, I like to push my film right up to the edge. And the fact that this is such a hard card, it allows all the moisture to be pulled out from underneath. This is why I like using this little card. So all this film that's up here, we want to make sure that's right up to the radius. So we got a flat side, the middle, which is the radius where it starts to curve, and then we have a bottom side, that's the other flat side, right? Okay. So we want to work this in 3 sections. We want to make sure we get the top first. Then once we have the top holding, then we can work the radius and the back side.
Okay.
So it's a 3-step process to wrapping these edges. Get this to hold. You can add heat underneath. You can add a little bit of heat on top. But before we get too far ahead, we got to make sure this is flat.
Okay.
Once we get there, we can start working the middle, and then we can start wrapping the back side.
All right.
We're almost done, right? So we could leave the hood just exactly how it is, but take a look right here really quickly. If you can see, while I was wrapping it, I was getting a lot of little fingers underneath. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my red dot knife, and I'm actually gonna cut the film. I'm gonna score the film right in this little pinch weld, and I'm gonna try to hide my film right in that little valley, and then I can get rid of all this extra film that just looks terrible underneath. Load up my blade. So here's what we're gonna do. We have that little pinch weld that's right in here. I'm gonna follow that with my knife. So when cutting on PPF, we actually don't want to go completely through the film. We want to go a third of the way into the film. We're just scoring the film. Very light pressure. We don't want to cut the car. And that, my friends, looks a lot cleaner. This looks good right here.
All right.
Cool, we're done.
That was easy. Yeah. All right. Nice and easy. She looks beautiful.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for teaching me.
Of course.
Hope you guys learned something too. So like maintenance on the outside, like I can ceramic coat this too,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, ceramic coating, just gotta do the same thing that it would on the paint to make it easier to maintain, easier to wash, keep it cleaner for longer, extend the life of the film. So check that out too. I want to thank Justin and the Wrap Institute for inviting us to do this. This was awesome. Happy birthday, Justin, 50. Wow. Make sure you go donate the $10. Justin's about to give away another prize. Back to you, Justin.
That was an awesome demo. Thank you so much, E-Man and Jason. Really appreciate you guys taking the time to share that information. Awesome stuff. And I love that beer tool belt pack. It's almost like a beer belly pack. So great for PPF during the week. And then I'm thinking on the weekends when you're watching football, you put your chips and your beer in there, and it's total, it's a two-way street, which is awesome for that tool. So definitely check out that on their website. Awesome stuff. Thank you so much. And the prize giveaway, before we give away the prize, we always love to answer questions about the demo. Dane, do you have any questions for me?
Yes, sir. All right.
Awesome.
So I'll go ahead and start off here with Kirby.
Okay.
Pull that up. It's going to cover me up a little bit here. As it appears, Justin, what was the first thing you wrapped that you considered a successful job done? Learning the skills, I can see it takes a long time.
It's a really good question. You know, it really depends on, you know, what kind of, you know, hand skills you have. You know, if you're really good at, like, you know, working with your hands and problem solving. So the learning curve really will vary, to be honest with you. So I've seen some people pick up wrapping and be able to wrap comfortably, like a good hood, good roof, in even up to 2 weeks. I think now is easier now because you have the Wrap Institute, you have hands-on workshops. Some people take 2 or 3 months. Again, depends on what you wrap. PPF is a little longer learning curve because you really have to understand the film. So I would say with PPF, definitely a month to kind of get it down really good. So you have that really good, strong corner game and finishing. I would say the good recipe is just get some film, practice on your hood, wrap your hood 4 or 5 times, get the feel for it, then build up to a fender and just wrap those until they're perfect. Friends and family's cars are really good to work on. Don't have a lot of pressure in terms of, you know, client having to pay for it and be nitpicky. They're usually thankful that you're wrapping their hood. So work on family and friends, wrapping hoods and fenders, build up from there. And then I would say give it about a month, 2 months, and then you'll get up to speed.
Okay, great. And so to answer his question, what was the first thing you felt like was really the standout, like really made you feel like, yeah, that's it, I did it?
You know, it depends. I mean, when I started off in 1996 and I worked for this guy for about a year, I wasn't allowed to touch vinyl for the first 3 months. All I had to do was clean, prep, get the vinyl together, see the process, and then I kind of got my hands on. I would say my first, his account was a Time Warner account, and we wrapped a lot of Astro vans and cargo vans. And I would say after about a month and a half, 2 months, I did my first van, and I just nailed it. So I would say my first van in 1996, but it took me 5 or 6 months to get to that point where I felt like I could walk away and I can give it a thumbs up, not a finger.
Sure, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I got Randy here, just wanting to make sure and point out that love all that y'all way up there do for us. Okay, thanks for putting together another great show. Thank you for that. And then Kirby follows up with, when you cleaned the PPF at the start, was this at the top or the bottom of the surface? So he was referring to the video.
Yeah, in the video, I think it's always good to clean both sides, to be honest with you, because sometimes when you're taking it off the roll, it depends on how you're pulling it out. You always want to make sure you clean both sides. So I would say generally you want to clean the liner, because that's when you flip it over, that's what's going to be touching the surface, not the top. But I still even recommend cleaning both, because sometimes how you roll it depends on how you get it to the car. Some people like to use the California roll, so if you're doing that, you want to clean both sides.
Okay. And then my last one here is from Mario saying, Justin, I've been considering wrapping my Beamer, but I live in an oven, Phoenix, and I was wondering what I need to watch out for in terms of durability concerns.
Well, in terms of wrapping and getting it on, it's overstretching. So if you're in a hot garage, the chance of the material stretching is very, very high. So that's when, if you saw the first demo of this whole event, that idea about, you know, really understanding stretch and zero stretching is really key, because if you can shrink the material as it goes on, it limits the overstretch. Highly recommend finding a garage that's climate controlled, because that's a huge, huge thing. If you're working in a space between 60 and 75 degrees, that's the sweet spot. And in Arizona, again, if you don't have that, your garage is going to be pretty darn hot. So that's the first thing. And then in terms of durability, make sure at the end when you're done, post-heat. Now in the Wrap Institute, we have a lot of videos on post-heating, and that is heating the material, and it depends on manufacturer, up to a specified temperature, which eliminates that memory, that stretch that I did in the window. If it's on the vehicle and you stretch it up to, let's say, 185 degrees, that'll eliminate that material from coming back. So again, climate controlled garage, mixing that with post-heating, I think it should be good.
Okay, great point. And of course, last here I got Nate just saying, happy birthday, Justin. Always awesome to get some great knowledge and get to donate to a good cause.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You know, again,
which is a great segue.
It's a very good segue. Again, it's not about my birthday so much as about celebrating the wrap industry and helping the homeless. And with that being said, I know a lot of you have donated money so far. We're almost at $4,000. So for me, super excited. Thank you so much for that. So with that being said, I think we can segue to Lisa right now. Lisa, your fingers, how are they holding up?
I'm getting cramps, but we're good. I'm up to date at the moment, so we're good.
I think you can use like a Rupus like thing on your hands, and that acts like a massager. I've heard.
Yes. Yes, we have plenty of those laying around.
You do.
Okay, so prize pack 2: the banana buffers, the wrap gloves, the membership towel set.
Yep.
It's a big prize.
I mean, it's a big prize.
And the Avery Dennison Neo, for me, I mean, that black gloss, you can turn that $1,200 roll into, I would say, at least $10,000 of jobs, because again, people are going to pay for that, and you can get at least maybe 12 hoods out of that. So that's good, very good money. Very good.
Awesome. So the lucky winner for this prize, drum roll, Dane.
All right.
Number 12. Hold on, let's check my little sheet here. That is going to James Miyamoto.
Oh,
James Miyamoto.
Miyamoto.
All right, Jimmy
Congratulations, James.
Miyamoto.
There you
Awesome.
go.
I think that might be Jimmy Moto. There's a guy who comments on our videos a lot who's Jimmy Moto. So perhaps that is who that is.
That could
Okay.
be. I don't get to see the company that they're with. I just see a name. So
Just a guess. So,
So maybe
yeah,
chances are you're right.
so James for the office, Jimmy for the party. That's cool.
there you go. So congratulations
Yes,
there.
that's awesome. Congrats.
Thank you, James. Congratulations, and thank all of you who've donated so far. So again, we've given away 2 rounds of prizes, and now we're up for the 3rd round of prizes. So let me announce those right now. The prizes that are up for grabs for demo number 3 are 3 boxes of banana buffers, 3 pairs of Orful wrap gloves. So thank you, Orful. 1 PPF kit from Yellow Tools, and I'm telling you, this is an amazing kit of tools from PPF. You are fully covered. And we also have a special guest in the studio right now. I'd like to have Chuck come on over from Fellers. Rep Institute's been working with Fellers for a long time, and Chuck, you're the rep in Boise, Idaho. Thank you so much for donating prizes today.
Absolutely.
Yep. And so, Chuck, what is Fellers donating for this round?
We are donating a full roll of 3M 2080 color change.
Wow.
That's 60 inches by 25 yards.
Okay.
The color of your choice.
Wow.
And one of the things that you brought up about wrap vinyls and temperature,
Sure.
that's one of the strong points of Fellers. All of our locations are climate controlled.
Nice.
They're heated in the winter, they're air conditioned in the summer, so you're getting the freshest possible vinyl.
Cool. Very good stuff. So that roll of 2080, how many colors can they choose from? It's quite a few.
Right now, with the situation we're in, it's probably around 30.
That's still great.
And so this includes everything excluding chrome, but it does include carbon fiber.
Ooh, serious.
Seriously.
So that's up to $1,300.
It is.
Wow. So this is a very good price.
It is a very good price.
Awesome. So thank you, Chuck, for being a sponsor.
You
for
are
this.
welcome. We are proud to support the Wrap Institute, the Rag Company, and Interfaith.
Awesome. Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate it. So again, big thanks to Fellers for that prize. And we actually have a couple more. Another Weldy heat gun, because you need heat to get that material on. 2-year membership on the Wrap Institute. And the last one is another, the TWI TRC towel set. And I'm telling you, that towel set is amazing. That was put together by the master of shine, Levi Gates himself, and that covers everything you need to clean and prep the wraps as well as aftercare. So the value of this kit is $1,998. Amazing. So that is up for demo number 3. And what is demo number 3? Demo number 3 is the business of wraps, and I'll be streaming with John Duever from Wrap IQ. So for me, I'm going to go over here, and this is really good for John and I are going to share a lot of information on this. But this is your chance, if you're watching right now, ask questions to Dane, and John and I will answer them in real time. Hi, John. How are you, my man?
Life is good, sir. How are you?
Oh, dude, I'm doing good. We're raising money for the homeless right now, John. We're almost at $4,000, my man. So really awesome stuff. So, John,
Nice.
for those of you who may not know you, can you let everyone know a little bit about yourself, Wrap IQ, and Vinyl Images?
Sure. So my name is John Duever. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I own a business here in St. Louis called Vinyl Images. I'm in that business with my brother and my sister. We are equal business partners. We've been in business for 21 years. We regularly print and produce over 3,500 wraps and graphics package per year, and we ship them nationwide, as well as we have a very large in-house wrap side of the business as well. With Wrap IQ, it's essentially a coaching and education platform where I specialize in building businesses. I specialize in one-on-one coaching. I specialize in large group coaching where I can help people get their businesses to the next level, because I have made every mistake you can possibly make in business, and I want to help people get through those hard points. And I've had a coach basically my whole life, business coach wise my whole life. And I these people deserve me to buy them, Christmas hams. They've done so many great things for me. So I want to be that for our industries. I want to be the person that helps you get through those hard times and that coaches you through some of the biggest problems that you're running through with your business.
Yeah.
I'm a dad of 3 boys. I love my kids.
3 boys is a lot, and both you and I have a passion for wraps, and you've won a lot of wrap contests. I've been wrapping for years, wrapped thousands of cars, and it's one thing to know how to, one thing that we find in this industry, a lot of the people who fall into this industry, a lot of them didn't go to college, a lot of them didn't go to business school, is that you can be a master at wrapping a bumper with PPF or color change film, but if you're not good at running the business, you're going to be putting 80 hours a week into wrapping in your business and not be making a lot of money, and that's something that people really get burnt out pretty quick.
100%. I think a lot of people don't understand that there's a difference between having a high-paying job and having an actual scalable business. And I made the mistake for many years that I just had a high-paying job, or a paying job at that. I wasn't making any money at the beginning. But at the same time, once I started to realize that it's the business aspects, having processes in place, everything from paperwork to HR to payroll to checking vehicles in and out, I mean, there's so many things that you must have in order to have a scalable business.
And part of that recipe, and just so for those viewers who may not know, you and I taught the Avery Dennison Business Boot Camp for years, and we taught our last one at the ISA show in April this year. And part of what we're doing now and what we did in those workshops was, kind of what we're saying is help people run a business better. And the main ingredient, and obviously we can't do a 2-day workshop during this live streaming event, but the idea right now is we can give some little snippets that really kind of help people a lot. And I think the first and foremost one, and you just kind of touched on a little bit, is communication in the wrap industry of business is absolutely key. Can you talk a little bit about communication?
100%. As you're scaling your business, as you're running your business, as you have clients come in, the communication, 95 to 98, maybe more of your problems comes from lack of communication. Whether it comes from a client and you're not communicating what the expectation is about what a color change is. Clients don't really understand what a color change is to you, the installer. So you have to set the expectation through education by communicating exactly what those things are. Now, internally inside your business, I can't even count how many times I have thought someone did someone wrong, or I thought something did something malicious, or I was just curious about why something happened. And then when I finally went and I had that conversation with them, it quelled all of my my thought process, because I was thinking the wrong way. If you just have the communication, have those crucial conversations, have the talks with your crew or with your team, with your wife, with your family, with your friends, it doesn't matter. Communication is literally everything when it comes to running a business. Everything.
Yeah, and I think what people have a hard time understanding within the wrap industry, or in the wrap business, there's so many layers. There's the front desk person, there's the salesperson, there's the owner, designer, production, installers, then you have your clients. And, the wrap industry is very specialized. So it's very hard to kind of understand what everyone's doing in each dynamic. Installers don't necessarily know what designers dealing with. Salespeople might not understand the install process. So there's a lot of unknowns, and that creates a lot of friction. And communication is, for me, massively important. And it's hard to master because so many people are doing their things. What are key ingredients that people can take away to really get good communication in the shop? For me, first and foremost, I would recommend having a daily meeting. What do you guys do at Vinyl Images?
100%. Daily huddles. We have a full wide company meeting on Mondays with the entire company. I have a meeting with my leadership team at least twice a week. And then each individual department has daily huddles in the morning to set out for the day and make sure that they know exactly what's going on. You mentioned something about communication. You mentioned something, there's a lot of friction that can evolve, that can develop. And the one thing that, let's just take the design to the install, for example, because you mentioned that, and I think that's a very good point. If you don't have a clear line of communication from your install team to your design team, and the installers are like, oh my gosh, this design is horrible and it needs to be, the verbiage needs to be moved down, or this is too close to the headlight or something, and they don't have a clear way to communicate that to the design department or to the designer himself or themselves, it just creates friction, creates animosity. It's like the installers, the installers are high maintenance, or the designers don't care about the install team. And that's not the case 99% of the time. And one simple conversation with a clear line of communication from department to department will solve all of that for most of you.
Yeah, and I think also it's also people being open to communication. I mean, some designers sometimes think they're above installers, and if installer comes up the chain and says, this was a problem, sometimes designers think, well, I'm above you, don't talk to me, or stuff like that. So I think it's understanding that everyone's on the same level, and I think it's key. And one of the prizes, John, that we're giving away in this round is from one of my favorite companies, Yellow Tools, and Michael, the owner, said something to me that really struck me years ago, is he says, don't blame the person, blame the process. Because 98% of the problem is process, 2% is the employee themselves. Would you agree with that?
I absolutely agree with that. You have to create a process for everything that goes into your business, whether it be the check-in process for checking in vehicles, or, how the shop is cleaned, how things are stored, how vinyl is getting ready for the install team, how people are weeding, how people are masking. You have to create a process, and most importantly, you have to attack that process head on every single time. If you stick to the process, and there's a refined process that has proven to be successful, it will work every single time. One of the problems that happens with process is people begin to win. These processes work, so they begin to win, and they feel those endorphins of winning, and they think, oh, it's me that's doing the winning. You have to really, when you start to feel that way and you get this little bit of ego starting to creep up on you, you have to understand, take a step back and understand that if you don't stick to the process, those wins will come a lot less, and they will come less efficiently. It is the process that gets you to the win every time.
Yeah, and process is hard to build, but it also eliminates that stress, and if you just trust in the process and go with it, I think is the game winner. So again, John, we don't have a huge amount of time, so I'm actually going to pivot on the topic right now. And the biggest thing for me is some people is, with any, basically when you're in the wrap industry, whether you're detailer or you're PPF, because a lot of the people watching right now are from the Rad Company YouTube channel and they're detailers, is you hit a certain ceiling. And you hit a certain ceiling where you might be a talented rapper, then you start to grow your business and hire employees, and then you hit that point where how do you go past that? What are good tips and tricks that you'd recommend for someone who gets 2 or 3 employees, they feel like they're working harder and not really growing the profit? How do they get to that next level so they can really kind of have a comfortable life work balance?
I think the biggest thing for that is vision. You got to have a vision. You have to have a purpose. You have to have an end goal. I want this, and I'm going to reverse engineer my vision back in order to accommodate that end goal. And it has to be separated. It has to be both personal vision of what you want personally, and then you have to have your business vision of what you want your business to look like. And once you have that vision, it gives you a lot of purpose, and it makes you put those extra hours in order to get those processes developed, because let's just be honest, process development can be very difficult, trying, nerve-wracking, annoying, etc. And it's hard work. But if you know that if you get this process done, it's going to climb you up that ladder one more rung in order to get to your end goal of whatever your vision is, it's a lot easier to put those hours in. A lot easier to put those hours in.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And I think part of the, understanding the process, and, you've mentioned it before in the boot camp, is, for me, is learning how to say no. Because at a certain point, when you first start your business, you're kind of taking on every job that comes through because you want to make sure that you pay the bills at the end of the month. And I get that. But in order to grow, and you have to start saying no, and you have to start saying no to the jobs that don't make money. And sometimes that's not super obvious. And so one thing we talk about on the Rap Institute is what we call doing the black and white. And so some jobs, there might be fun to do, but at the end of the day, they may not be making as much money for your company. I know one of my favorite shops in the world, Nick Caminiti down Exotic Graphics down in Australia, they're known for car wrapping, but during COVID, he found that he pivoted his company, and they actually don't do a whole lot of car wraps anymore because he found that he was making much more money somewhere else. So he gave up his passion, but at the same time, his company's making way more money. Would you recommend that that's a good thing to do as well?
I think being light on your feet and being ready to pivot at any time is violently important. I think that if a lot of the times people think that this is my business, this box is my business, and I'm not going outside of that business. Well, when unforeseen things happen, I've seen multiple recessions. I've been in business 21 years. COVID was crazy. If I'm not light on my feet and I'm not ready to pivot one way, or at least look in a direction for a pivot, I would be bankrupt, truly. You have to be light on your feet. You have to be nimble. You have to be ready to pivot. You have to be able to do the research quickly. But if you don't have the data to support to support your move, you're going to be in trouble. Because you have to, data doesn't lie. If the data is entered correctly, obviously, the data doesn't lie. So if the data is telling you to go do one thing, then you probably should do that. And don't let your passion's great. Passion's almost, it's priceless. Chad with Graffiti Raps, he said passion is priceless. I agree with that, but passion will also drive you into bankruptcy if you're not smart and you don't look at the data.
Yep, I agree. And more and more, I've had a great relationship with the Rad Company over the years, and more we're creating a bigger partnership with news coming out in the next couple of months. But it's been amazing to watch how they've run their company and how they scaled from a garage, basically in a house, to now they have, I would say, 50 plus employees. They're on their 8th building. Their new warehouse right across the street is amazing. But they're very good at doing the black and white and scaling and have COs in place and stuff like that. It's amazing to watch. And you just, they have a passion in terms of they have this beautiful studio, and this is what gets them their notoriety. But again, they're doing the black and white on the back end. So extremely important to do. Another recommendation, John, you obviously talked earlier about it, to go past that ceiling, I think coaching is a big one. 100%.
I mean, 100%. That's really why I started Rap IQ Next Level Education and Coaching. It is. I've had a coach for the last 17 years. You know, I spend tens of thousands of dollars a year on coaches, and I found that good coaches have such a large impact on me, but they're not necessarily affordable for everybody. So I have September 1st, we're launching a new coaching program. It's going to change our industry as we know it. Really, I have learned so much from these coaches that I've had in my life, and I want to be that coach for everybody else. I owe a lot to my coaches, and I want to be able to help people get through that ceiling, or help them with their processes, or with the mentality, or how to be a better partner, or how to, I'll even give you some bad parenting advice if you want it. What I'm trying to do is change the world as I know it. And I know that if I had someone in my shoes that helped me back when I was starting, or that I needed more help, that I would be a lot further along in my career as I am right now. And I'm doing pretty well, but at the same time, I can always do better. And I think as I keep climbing, I need to drag more people up. I have this help people bucket, and I can't fill it fast enough. And I believe that the large group coaching model that we're launching September 1st is going to make a big impact and change a lot of lives.
Cool. And definitely for all those you watching, definitely look out for that. And I also think, as we wrap this up too, is, John, and I teach workshops for Avery Dennison, and obviously we have the Rap Institute. And, I know a lot of people try to learn on YouTube and try to figure it out themselves. And they say, well, Rap Institute is like $149 for a year and it's too expensive. It's like, for me, it's a no-brainer to start doing that stuff or take a hands-on workshop. So I think even if your team, I see like, one of my favorite people in the industry, Andrew, up in Wisconsin, he recently sent 4 of his employees and himself to a workshop, which is super smart. And some people might say, well, you just dropped $6,000, $7,000 to send your employees, plus they're not working. But he came out of it being like, dude, we made so much more money. So you have to be willing to get coaching, get education, get memberships on places like the Rap Institute. Because if you don't do that, you're going to hit that ceiling and you're going to stay under that ceiling.
Real quick, what if you have someone and you don't train them, you don't teach them the necessary things, you don't give them areas of opportunity for growth,
right?
And they stay, and they leave, right? Like, what if you teach them everything and they leave? Yeah. But what if you teach them everything and you don't teach them everything and they stay? Like, I've said that completely wrong, but you understand what I'm saying? You have to educate people. You have to give them an area. You have to give them an area for growth, just like you need vision and I need vision.
Yeah.
People on your team have to have vision. They have to have purpose. They have to have, they know that they're going to keep moving up as they continually educate themselves, and you're giving them the opportunity to educate themselves. That's the recipe for a beautiful culture, and it's a recipe for a scalable business.
Yeah, and you can't be afraid of educating your employees. You can't be afraid of educating yourself, because again, some people say, well, you're educating, hopefully maybe your employee leaves in this competition. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? I agree. It's one of those things where you just have to ride the edge of that knife and just trust yourself and trust your culture, and that your culture is going to win.
Absolutely. You got to be, listen, if somebody comes into your operation, your business, and they leave and they're not a better person when they leave, you failed. Yeah. You failed as a boss, as an owner,
Absolutely.
As a team leader. You failed.
So it's funny. John, as we wrap this up, is there anything else you want to leave anyone, like a little nugget that they can take away from this? Because we have one more minute before we have to wrap up.
Listen, I'll tell you this: continued education is absolutely crucial. Whether it's the Rap Institute, I have a class. I'm teaching a class right now. Avery Dennison. I'm teaching an Avery class right now. During my lunch break, I'm coming and knocking this out. And I'm telling people about continued education, and I'm telling people about the Rap Institute, and I'm telling people about even YouTube. Right? I'm telling people about the coaching. I'm telling people about the continued education is going to be what sets you apart from your competition. It's going to bring you from good to great. And if you think that you know everything, you don't. You don't know what you don't know. And you don't know what you don't know until you start to educate yourself. I've learned that throughout my life. I used to be a very stubborn person.
Yep.
I thought I knew everything. I had a rather large ego until I realized I didn't. I didn't know everything, and there's always more to learn. And once I really came to the feeling of that in my soul, I started to really, truly grow as a person. And that's where I'm at today, and I want to share that with as many people as I can, man.
That's beautiful. And that's how I came up with the slogan, Never Stop Learning, right before we launched the Rap Institute. Someone had been rapping for 2 months, taught me a technique that I didn't figure out after 15 years, and I was just like, holy crap, and I checked my ego at the door, I absorbed that information, and that's how I was like, never stop learning. That's how I came up with that. So if you think you're the best, you can never get
real quick, anybody that's got core values inside their business, Never stop learning should be one of your core values. If you don't have core values, develop them. But never stop learning should be one of your core values for sure, because it emulates exactly what we are as people, and you should never stop learning ever. And thank you for coming up with that catchy little slogan.
I mean, actually, it's a very interesting point on this. We came up with a slogan, but the first thing I did was trademark it. So the Rap Institute owns Never Stop Learning as a trademark, because again, being smart with business. If you don't own the trademark, who cares?
Royalties go to Justin's Venmo. It's no.
But you get it. So John, love what you're doing. Again, I know you have a class to teach and you got to eat a sandwich in about 2 minutes before you go out to those students. So really love what you're doing, John. Appreciate it. Say hi to your brother and sister for me too.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you.
Cheers, man. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you.
So that was awesome. The business of raps, very important to get that right. I love, John's passion for rapping is really cool. So with that right now, obviously part of this event is giving information, great demos, but donations going to the homeless, going to Interfaith. So we want to announce the prizes right now. So the prizes for this round come up to $1,998. Before we announce the winner, and Lisa's got everyone's name, Dane, any questions that I can answer before we go?
Yeah, I had about 7 or 8 here that I actually thought were worth bringing up. So
Okay,
I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there. First one was Mario making sure to pass a big compliment along there. That's going to cover me again. Make sure and say, man, this guy in this segment is awesome and inspiring. So I want to make sure and shout out that. We've got Mario also asking, what are some of the top 2 to 3 mistakes to avoid when starting a rap business?
Ooh, thinking that an 80-hour work week is a proof of that you're doing it right. Again, I understand starting your business is one of those things. I understand starting your business is hard, and it does take time, and you do have to build up, and you're going to put in more than 40 hours a week, but your goal is to get down to 40 hours a week as quickly as possible. So you're going to have to do multiple roles. You're going to have to do admin, rapping, a lot of sales and stuff like that. As soon as you feel like you're up to speed enough to hire someone to do it, whether it's part-time, do it. So the more time you have to kind of do what you're good at, whether rapping or sales or whatever, get someone else to do the stuff that you hate. And so find out that, for me, I hate admin, so I have Julie. For me, I don't like organizing all the videos, so I have Marcos. So I have the right people in place to do the stuff that I'm not particularly good at, so I can be on camera doing this right now. So I have people running the Rap Institute, Mary's doing social media, and I'm not crazy about that, but I love to sit in front of a camera and I love to share information. So get people, whatever you hate, hire someone to do. And for me, again, try to get to that 40-hour week. Again, working more than 40 hours a week is not a good work-life balance. Try to find that balance.
Fair. And then I've got Chris here saying, don't you think working for other shops helps grow your own shop? So maybe just kind of beginning and then working your way up to doing your own thing.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think, it's one of those balances, and John kind of touched on it too, is like, some owners can smell it if you are working for, you're just getting a job there, so you can kind of see how they run a business to jump out. So, try to find that balance. Of course you want to learn the ropes, but if you're there just to steal information, not good. Because so I've seen a lot of companies or a lot of installers work for a company and go off on their own, but they still have good relationships with that shop owner. So try to find that balance between it. Because again, you can learn a lot, but if you're there just to steal, I wouldn't say do that.
Burning bridges is expensive. We got Brian Garcia here. Tips to get from color change more into commercial work. I'm Avery and soon 3M certified.
Awesome, very cool. I think a good jump for that, and again, color change is easy. Color change is a business in a box. You basically are taking a roll of film out of the box and wrapping a car, so you don't have to deal with designers, printers, or anything like that. So again, getting into commercial, which huge amounts of money in commercial right now, and I'm a big fan of commercial, can be daunting, and it can be expensive. So on the Rap Institute, and I highly recommend that those of you who get a membership on the Rap Institute, there's one of my favorite companies out there called We Print Raps, and Trish and Bryce run that company, and they do a really good job. And if you're on the Rap Institute, you get a 5% discount on every order. So I would highly recommend, if you have a commercial wrap, get that job, but instead of buying a printer and a laminator right away, let them do the printing for you. They ship it right to your door. And once you get up to speed and you feel like you're getting commercial work, then jump into the equipment and do that thing, because the learning curve is super high, the expenses can be super high. So I would say do a wholesale printer to begin with, and then go off on your own.
Okay. And then I got Humberto here asking, if one considers wrapping a vehicle with clear coat failure, will it be required wet sanding first?
Again, totally depends on client expectations, because that wet sanding process you should charge the customer for. So say I can wrap over your car, there might be clear coat damage, or you might see stuff underneath the film. I call that putting lipstick on a pig. So if the customer is fine with lipstick on a pig, and some customers are, just wrap over it. Otherwise, do the wet sanding, and we actually just shot some videos with Levi, and they'll be coming out on the Rap Institute in about a week or two. And Levi talks about the different approach of wet sanding a car and getting that right. And that's again in process, but I was, then there's a charge for that. So if the customer's willing to pay for that charge, get the right grit, get the right process, and then you're good to go.
Excellent. And I've got Tanner here saying, Justin, how do you feel about wrapping chrome bumpers?
Depends on the bumper, depends on the material, depends on the workspace. So a lot of things. Again, I'm fine with wrapping chrome. Just so you know, most manufacturers don't give a warranty on the wrap film when you're wrapping chrome, because there might be some variables in how the manufacturer made that chrome. Good surface energy for the most part. Always tricky when cutting on the chrome, because if you cut the chrome, it might damage it. And bumpers always have those giant compound curves and stuff like that. So I don't know. For me, I try not to wrap chrome bumpers for the most part, just because I think it looks good enough, and bumpers are always hard. So I try to convince the customers through a very high price point on install for that to scare them off. Personally.
Okay. Then I got Zach here. What is the best product/process for removing ceramic coating prior to color change, wrap, or PPF?
Well, you're going to have to wait for the last demo, because Anthony and Levi will talk about that exactly. So you have to stay tuned for that. I'm sorry to do that, but that's just my job.
That's a good question, though.
Cool.
Means you can actually see it in action. Last one here. I've got, how do you switch business from correction and coating to PPF?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually very good that you know how to do that, and then transfer, then you migrate over to that. So I would say, take workshops to get up to speed. Just don't jump into PPF. PPF is very expensive material, so you're going to be wasting a lot of money. So taking a workshop, getting a membership on the Wrap Institute, watching all the videos we have, especially the next demo coming up with Reiner will give a lot of information, and the one you just watched with Jason was a lot of information as well. So workshops, education, videos, and stuff like that, and then jump into it. And that helps, because a lot of those workshops will give you help and sales advice in terms of networking and building that.
Okay, excellent. And the very last one was more of a comment there. Chris just said, not to steal, collaborating with your peers. He just wanted to make sure he clarified that, so when he's working for someone else, it was for a positive thing, not a negative thing.
Oh, for sure.
We're good there.
Collaborations are great.
Okay, so moving along, let's see what Lisa has to say over here.
Lisa!
Yay! So I'm putting we have at least 200 entries. So
excellent.
My fingers are
seriously
numb, but so we got the last one here.
Thank you, everyone. Awesome.
So, okay, prize pack 3.
All right, and this is for that big roll from Fellers. Awesome stuff. Color change coming up.
Yes. Let's see. It's going to 123. Let me check my little list.
Chart.
That is going to Scott Wynn.
Scott Wynn, congratulations.
Wow.
Congrats,
cool. Scott Wynn, Scott won.
Scott won. I like it.
Awesome.
Cool.
Congratulations. Awesome. So again, we have given away 3 prize packages so far. We have 3 more left. And for those of you who might be just joining us right now, for you to be available to win one of these great prize packages, you have to donate at least $10. Sign up on the Rad Company website. And if you donate obviously more than $10, for every $10 you get your name in the pot, and some of these prizes are absolutely amazing. So far great information, great prizes. Let's get on to round number 4. And for round number 4, all right, before I announce the demo right now, I'm going to announce the prizes. And this prize package is worth $1,880, and the prize package is 3 boxes of banana buffers, 2 pairs of Orful wrap gloves, and this is a really great company, and I'm really passionate about what these guys are doing right now. XIX 3D just launched Xeno X, and Xeno X is a visualizer on steroids. Basically, you can now design on Xeno X. You can send stripes right to your plotter right now. You can basically do everything. You actually send invoicing through Xeno X. For this, you get 3 months, which is valued at $750 for that. Flexi Shield is doing great stuff with color PPF. They also have PPF for headlights and everything. So they have a prize on this, as well as a 2-year membership on the Wrap Institute. So again, the total for this is $1,880. And to be available for this, you have to donate at least $10. So with that, now, demo number 4 is a really cool one. I have a great business partner at the Wrap Institute. Reiner Lawrence is awesome. He's one of the best guys that I know in the industry. Great installer, great guy all around. So he's going to do a demo on how to wrap a windshield or how to wrap PPF on glass so you get that protection. Because for me, it's a great upsell, and there's great new materials out there that normally PPF material for windshields used to be super hard to put on. Now they're much easier, but customers don't necessarily understand the install process, so they don't care. So they're really willing to pay a high price for that because their windshield is protected, but now your install time is dramatically lower, which means your profits are much higher, and that's the name of the game. But you have to know how to put it on. So with that, let's get to Reiner.
Hello everybody, I'm here in the Wrap Institute Center, and I want to say happy birthday to Justin on this special happy birthday event. we also will do today a little bit of an event, a little bit of a testing. So we are the Rep Institute, and I have somebody who is helping me today. This is my beautiful assistant, my wife, Dana. And come on, I will show you what we do. What a cool birthday present, huh? We have a piñata here, especially for you. And we are the Rep Institute, and we need to protect this piñata. And I will ask now my beautiful assistant, Dana, if she can bring me first some PPF for the car here. Thank you. So here we have actually PPF, super hydrophobic, everything, and we put this now on the bonnet. Oh, we need a tool for this. Maybe I can ask my beautiful assistant if I can have a Yellow Tools Ape Squeegee. Thank you. So we squeeze everything on. So the hood is protected, but now what we do today, so it's about all the new things. So we need to protect this windshield. Okay, here we have a windshield PPF. So this is pretty new on the market, and I'm excited to put it on our piñata car, on the windshield. So now it's super safe, because I didn't think I can break it now with PPF on the windshield and here. What do you think? And now we go to the exciting part. Let's break it, let's try to break it. And my beautiful assistant, bring me something. No, I don't know really the game, but I think I need to be blindfolded for this. Oh, now I'm blind anywhere. I cannot see anything. I can see maybe a little bit, but I know she will approve it that I'm really blind. Everybody's away? Don't hurt anybody here. So, okay, here it is. Still on. It's a protective PPF on it. Let's try directly on the windshield. Still on. How protective is it, PPF? Okay, it's breaking it 2 pieces, but I think this was pretty fun right now. But what you actually can see, direct in the middle where there was no PPF protective, the car was broken. So be sure protect everything from the car. Well, I think this was now just a small game, or I think we go real. Come on. Okay, so here we have a brand new windshield from a BMW 3 Series. It's actually a M3. Super expensive, so this small squeegees cannot do nothing against it. But I have more things, what maybe breaks this. But first, we do the install, and I show you the install tools, what we have. So, we have here a roll of windshield PPF. We cut this down. We have our Ape Squeegee, PPF Squeegee. We have our Wet Max Pro, so get real pressure on this. One knife, one Sharpie, and the installation fluid, the slip solution. Okay, and now I want to show you what we do after the installation. So please, my beautiful assistant, bring me the tools to break the windshield. For security reason, I need to have at first a security goggle course. The other one, if I would be blind, would be not so good. So we start with this one. The next one is some stones. All a bunch of great stones. I think if some of these stones hit the windshield regular, it definitely will break. So at next, if I now can throw so fast, something will help me. A slingshot. And now we go crazy. We have this crazy baseball bat. And I don't know if the windshield can take this even with the PPF on. But if this is not enough, I mean, what should we have? Okay, then we have here a super fast gun, and this shoots in a speed with 500 kilometers per hour. This is in miles. I don't know, I'm from Europe, I don't care. So I'm a metric system. I know this is fast enough that we shoot on this window with this gun. Okay, now we install on this brand new windshield the PPF. So I clean it before completely, so the windshield really needs to clean super well. So otherwise you cannot really see through it. So I grab my material and put it on really fast. So at first I measure the windshield. So this is now, again, I have centimeters. Should I change? For mainly you're in the US, you know what? I change it for you today, my measurement system. Okay, this is now in inches. Just for you, a gift from me. So here we have 33 inches high and we are 58 inches wide. Let's cut the material down. So we have 3 layers here. One is the cap sheet, the other one is regular PPF, and the other one is the liner here. When you feel it, it's not so super tacky, and it's, I see completely through. Oh, what a great thing for a windshield. So let's spray some slip solution. So now we spray also the window, and the slip solution is a little bit different. So we put a double amount of slip solution in the slip like regular, because we want to have it really sliding. Now I will release the cap sheet. I don't need it now. Oh, no, I don't release it now. So let's pre-cut it. Cut it down. Take care of a clean workspace. Oh, no, it looks like that I'm too stupid to reset. Okay, the cap sheet goes away. We need the cap sheet. If we would have a cap sheet even on the regular PPF, so the film is not super glossy. And we want to have this super glossy. Spray it from the outside. We have some funny red wipers right now, so this is our special thing here. So cut this first, our super wipers, and it goes here. Here. Good. So try to get all the wrinkles out. have no tension on the regular material. You see right now we have wrinkles here, so it's a super flexible material. So if you want to learn more about this, how to install, this is even a thing about the wrap matrix, what we invented was the Wrap Institute. So I stretch it here and the wrinkles here are disappearing. Okay, for this wet install, I use a wet max from Yellow Tools, and the cool thing, here I have a second handle, so I can really push it down and get a lot of pressure on it. So fix it in the middle, one strap here, then I pull on the left side here and fix it one time here, then I pull on the right side here and fix it in the middle. Good. Then I only need to squeegee up and down, and always with a lot of water. Good. Always good to double check all the edges. Trim it down. I trim right now exactly on the edge. So go in here. Okay, check everything on the side and go down with the ape squeegee. So every moisture needs to go out, and then we let it dry. So okay, what would Justin right now say? Super cool install. So let's go with the super cool install and the super invisible PPF on the front windshield and try to break it. So after a little bit of drying time, regularly dry this minimum for 24 hours and let it sit a while, but now we have it dried for a few hours and now we start the test. For the test I definitely need my beautiful stage assistant, my wife Dana, and I need my lap cord for this. Okay, I think now it fits better for the craziness. And next thing, I do this when I see it, but I want to save my glasses. Oh yes, please, if I can get my safety goggles. It looks funny, it should funny, and you can also laugh with this. So next one, we start with the first action. I think we start with the stones, and we prepare also here a GoPro camera, so you can see in detail what will happen. So thank you, I get a few stones. So, nice one. We also changed the angle from the windshield, because regular windshield is more angled like this. It should be in a regular way, so. Let's check, come closer. There's pretty no damage here. Nothing. Should we go more crazy? Yes, please. Marcus is crying on the other side. So we go more crazy and ask my stage assistant for the slingshot. So, okay, this is super powerful. I don't know what happens right now. This is still running, yeah. Let's go for it. Oh, and I need to definitely try to hit also the windshield. So, okay. More power. More power on my hand. Okay, more power. Get back. Ooh, that was a good one. Oh, but still, you see a damage from the TPU fill, but no damage in the windshield, nothing. And this was a super sharp stone, really hot corners, okay? Go again with this big one. You see this big stone with a lot of power on the windshield. See? You see, it's super fast, super hot. I don't think that you get such a big stone on it. Same, only the PPF is cracked, and I think only the PPF is cracked because we only wait for now, let's say 2 hours, 3 hours till it's dry. If it would stay for more time, I think definitely else this will not happen. Let's do it again, it's funny. Oh, yeah, funny for you if I don't hit the screen. Here, same. This is still fine. Okay, next one. So, you know what comes up? The baseball. So, can we please change? Thank you. Okay, check, still running. Yeah, still running. Okay, here. Okay, I'm too small right now for this to hit it in the right position. So I ask for a yellow to step for a beautiful stage assistant. Thank you. Okay, see this. I don't know. You know what? We try to shoot it with a gun. Come on. So that you see exactly what happens. I put the GoPro now exactly behind the windshield. I will try to shoot on the point from the GoPro. I will start it and let's see. Okay, now come closer and see what happens in the film. So we have a few hits here in the film, here, here, here. So this was really, I mean, with the gun was crazy and with the slingshot was really crazy. I will remove now the film and we see how it looks behind on the glass. So it's good. Come on, baby. So you never can remove the film again. braking is crazy. It's no fun to move. Should we directly brake? Okay. So you see this here? Or closer. Okay, now a little bit of glue. Also a little bit of glue. Let's wipe it down and check if it's only glue or if there's small damage in the window. Oh, crazy. So I'm really surprised by myself because there's no scratch, no damage, no broken glass, nothing. So protects pretty well. So this was pretty funny, I would say. We tried to break it, but even today we need to make some noise for you, Justin, to say you happy birthday, and Marcos and Dana, please come closer and we say happy birthday! Good.
That was an awesome demo. Thank you so much, Reiner. Tons of information on there. Reiner, you were awesome. Dana, Marcos, and Sergey, awesome job at the Rapid Suit Center in Munich. As you can tell, Reiner knows his stuff, but he also has a lot of fun, and that's definitely the name of the game. If you're doing something you love, you got to do stuff like that. So great information, and also keep in mind that's a great upsell. Look how much damage Reiner tried to do to that glass, and it's in perfect condition. And the material a lot of people are asking is, what film was that? That's actually new from Steck. It's called Dynaflex. It's really, really amazing, super easy to put on. And keep in mind, the Rapid Suit just created the certification program for Steck worldwide, and Reiner will be heading that up. So keep in mind, if you're in Europe especially, you can take the workshop from Reiner and get certified. Big win. So with that, Dane, any questions that I can answer that came up in the demo other than how to break a piñata while you're blindfolded?
Well, you already answered one, which was what film was that, so we got that covered. Okay. But I'm going to throw in Mario here, which is good question, because I feel like a lot of people are kind of in this boat when they're thinking about protecting their windshield. Yeah. Is it still a good idea to wrap my windshield in PPF, even if I already have some minor rock chips, but no cracks?
I mean, yeah, I mean, it definitely helps for sure. You know, obviously you're still going to be able to see that rock chip underneath, but it is going to seal it and protect it. So I would say for sure. Otherwise, you know, just if hopefully maybe your windshield is covered under your insurance plan, maybe it's worth it to swap out for a new one and then immediately put PPF on the windshield. Personally, for me, as soon as you buy a brand new car, if you're not putting PPF on the windshield, you're crazy.
Simple enough. And speaking of PPF, the other one I've got here is Tommy simply asking, how difficult is it to remove PPF after it's been on for a few years? I'm assuming this means on paint, not on the windshield, but you could say both.
I say for both, you know, and one of the sponsors for, you know, one of the companies who've donated material or tools and prizes for this event is the Pod Steamer. And Dan, who runs that company, Pod, using a steamer is absolutely essential for taking PPF off. If you don't use the steamer, and let's say you use a heat gun and just try to pull off normally, all the adhesive is going to stay on the car and it's going to be horrible to take off. So steam really softens that adhesive and you pull off in the opposite direction and it should come off super easy even if it's been on for a long time.
Okay, excellent. Well, that pretty much covers us for those ones. I think a lot of people were just kind of enthralled watching them, you know, damage the windshield, or at least attempt to. So that was a lot of fun. Really liked that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Dane, I think if that ends the questions, you know, the prize for this round is a really awesome package that includes the Flexi Shield, the Xeno X, everything. Total $1,880. Lisa, what's the deal?
Okay, so we've broken $4,000 in donations.
Awesome.
Which is awesome.
Sweet.
Yes, people are loving this. Okay, so prize pack 4 is going to number 9, which is
number 9. Sounds like a
Harold Nymphs.
Harold!
Harold!
Oh, Harold's
Harold.
awesome. Harold
Good old
is a trainer
Harold.
for Avery Dennison. Harold's a great guy.
That's awesome.
Big fan of him. Oh, Harold, congratulations, man.
Congrats,
you just won
Harold.
a really cool kit. So you are the man. Very cool stuff. So awesome. I love, we've been out 4 demo packages so far. And actually, I mean, it's so cool that Harold won. But also, let's go back to round number 3, which is interesting, is Lisa, you told me, and so much going on, I didn't put it together.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I started off this event by saying someone actually came in person to the Rad Company and donated $100 and said, you know what, I'd love to be part of it. I love what you guys are doing. And that was Scott Wynn, and Scott won demo number 3. So that was actually good karma for
Super
taking
cool.
this time to come
Yeah.
here. So we love this event, and that's what happens when you do good stuff for homeless people, and that's what all of you are doing right now, learning and giving away. So that brings us to demo number 5, and for me this is a really cool one in the sense that, you know, what we try to do on the Rap Institute is not only teach you how to rap, but also be smart about business. John and I just talked to you about the business of raps, but also what Reiner's talking, and we're talking about that, is learning how to do a windshield because it's a good upsell, great for your clients. So Dimas Brasil, runs the Rap Institute in Brazil, talks about how to turn scraps into gold for molding around windows. And then I take that same logic and show how to turn that into a hood wrap that you can sell for a premium upsell. And it's all about using your scraps. So if you save your scraps, you win big time. But before we get to those demos, what I want to do is announce the prize package for demo number 5. So if you're watching right now and you've already donated, let's say $10, and you like the prize that I'm about to announce, you can donate more. It increases your chances for winning. And we'll have Jody from Interfaith coming here soon, and she's going to be talking about Interfaith and what all this money is going to go towards, which is great. So look forward to that. So without further ado, the package prize number 5 is 4 boxes of banana buffers, 2 pairs of Orful wrap gloves, and this is a really good one, a monkey strip kit worth $300. That includes t-shirts and hoodies. Flexi Shield, also Flexi Shield, this is good for the headlights and everything. Hexus, 1 fully loaded kit of shag tools, and Hexus is a great company based in France, and they're based in Atlanta in America. Verada does a great job with that company. Weldy heat gun, again, really awesome heat gun. We've made a lot of videos for them, good stuff. And of course, a 2-year membership on the Rap Institute. And this package is worth $1,892. Really cool stuff. So for now, I mean, that's the prizes. Hopefully you get your donations in. I'm really happy that we're at $4,000 right now. With that being said, let's see how to turn scraps into gold.
Hello Justin, hello everyone. I hope all of you are having fun watching TWI Live directly from Boise. Today I want to share a small tip to make some extra money with the scrap. Scraps could be a problem for shop owners because it doesn't matter how effort you put to organize everything, always look a big mess. We have this Ford Focus. It's a 2016 Ford Focus. Not in a great condition. We have some aftermarket parts, and all of them has different colors. Looks horrible. So I'll take some black PPF scraps to cover this and make look brand new again. Before the show started, I already did this side and looks brand new, very good. Extra money because this material is already paid for the customer. So I have a really good profit. I already set up all my tools that I need before I start the job because I hate waste time looking for squeegees or knives. So what I need is pretty much PPF squeegees. I have a regular squeegee with banana buffer, perfect to dry the edges. I have some tapes. I have solutions. For me, this is my favorite one so far. I have a good knife, good blades. I have some primer here. I have blade breaker, some syringes, and I always have around me a wrap defender. Also, I have water and alcohol and good towels from a special company. When I talk about PPF, the preparation is half of the job. On this case here, we will clean with alcohol, IPA, and after I will use some primer because I have some scratched corners here. The job actually is not hard at all. It's all about hook the corners and make it flat before squeegee. First here, I see this as my start because it's the hardest point. So I hook the material here, stretch for the second corner on top, and after that, all my wrinkles will follow in this shape here, and I fix to the bottom. hooking on this corner. Thank you very much, Justin, and everybody who's watching the TWI live directly from Boise. And now, some pictures before and after. So, see you soon.
Dimas, I love that demo you just did. Taking those scraps and transforming that molding with the PPF looks totally brand new. And what I love about it, obviously from a business sense, is don't have to invest your own material for that, since the scraps, basically free material, and a great transformation, got that long-term horizontal warranty, and it's going to hold up for a long time. So on the Rep Institute, we not only teach you how to rep, but be smart about business. What Dimas just gave you is a great tip for molding on cars, and what I want to give you right now is a great tip of how to customize a hood using scraps as well. Again, scraps for the win. This actually has a very interesting story in the sense that in April, I was at the Rag Company teaching a workshop for Avery Dennison, and normally in a workshop, I teach how to make stripes with knifeless tape. And because I was in Boise, there's a big Basque population, and the material on hand was gloss green and gloss red, I thought, instead of showing stripes, I'm actually going to do the Basque hood on the hood of my rental car, which was white, because in the Basque flag, there's white, green, and red. So I did it for the workshop, and people loved it, and I thought, you know what? When I saw Dimas's demo, or when he told that the demo that he was going to do for this live event, I thought, you know what? I'm going to make a quick video on making the Basque flag, because I think you're going to find it extremely interesting. Because why do I like this demo is the sense that you're using scraps, which is very good for profits. It's a great way to customize, and installers of all levels, beginner, intermediate, and advanced, can do this. And keep in mind, this was even cooler, is you don't need a lot of tools. So in this case, I have of course, bubblegum smell good squeegee. I got a corner game for monkey strips, 3M knifeless tape design line, masking tape, dry erase marker, backing paper or a liner, and this is actually where I created my negative gaps, super precise, and of course, as I mentioned earlier, scraps. So you can make very high profits by doing, let's say, a Basque flag on a hood in Boise, Idaho. They had the Basque Festival last week. Imagine if you're a business and you put 6 of these on hoods, people paid a lot of money for it because it's a Basque flag. They see it as super custom and amazing, and you know it after this demo. This is a very easy install. So very easy install using scraps, high profits. What gets better than that? So with that, I'll show you how to get it done. All right, here we go. The first step is to find the center point. And this is a great tip and trick I picked up from Phil Aquin. So instead of using a tape measure, I'm using masking tape. So at the front, I basically went from corner to corner. And now here I'm using the liner that I'm going to use for the negative space for the stripes, and I'm going from the upper corners of the hood, ticking it with my dry erase marker, and then running the masking tape to those marks. So now I have a straight line all the way across the top. And from there, I'm taking the dry erase marker and hitting the side right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the masking tape low and flat, match that mark up to the edge of the hood here, and then tick it right at the fold, and that's my center point. Super quick and easy. Love this style, and it's very, very precise. So once I make that mark, now I got a line at the top and bottom, and now I'm basically taking the masking tape and making sure that the masking tape goes right in the middle of those marks. Then I place marks in the middle of that liner piece, and this is exactly 8 inches wide. And then from there, I'm making sure that those marks are in the middle of the masking tape. Once it's in the middle, top and bottom, then I hit the marks on either side of the liner. And again, no tape measure needed, super precise, and it handles the curve of the hood really, really nice. Then from there, I'm taking 3M design line. Love design line because it's flexible, and I can also snap it off with my finger. Run the design line right next to the markers and tap it. Tapping it now makes sure that the line stays nice and uniform. Runs my finger top and bottom. Then same thing here, just basically run the knifeless tape next to those markers. Love using dry erase markers too, because I can basically wipe it off with my finger. Very easy and straightforward, and now the middle part is done, which means the masking tape can go bye-bye. All right, now it's time to lay the horizontal run, and I'm using the width of the knifeless tape now and basically putting it at the edge of the nozzle and making my mark there. So it's uniform, again, no need to use a tape measure, and then lining the masking tape up to those marks. So basically I'm gonna take the masking tape from side to side. Now I got a straight line at the top, which is cool. I take that same liner, so the negative gap is gonna be exactly the same width, and basically running the edge of the liner to the masking tape right now, so it's really precise all the way across on the horizontal. So very easy, and I love this technique because it's super low cost, very precise. Now running the knifeless tape right to those markers, being super focused right now. Notice I'm pulling from the roll, and by pulling from the roll, it keeps that line nice and uniform so it doesn't kink at all. So very important to keep it on the roll. So you're basically pulling from a very long distance and focusing, and here I'm running the knifeless tape right along the masking tape, so it's super, super straight. Always want to run a finger to seal the deal, make sure the knifeless tape is on the surface. Masking tape can now go bye-bye, and always want to make sure that here I put a mark on the windshield right, or the headlight right there, that says 1, so I know to pull the horizontals first, because sometimes if you get going and flowing in the install, you might forget which one to pull first, vertical or horizontal. And now you can see, obviously, it's scrap time, and here just taking my Smell Good squeegee, so every time I make a squeegee stroke, I get a little whiff of bubble gum, so it makes the install definitely fun. And this install is very fun, and the reason why is scraps. So you can see I got this red gloss piece that I'm just basically putting it on. Don't have to really care about alignment. All I really care about is I just have enough red to cover the knifeless tape and then just get to the sides. So no stress at all, and that's one of the many reasons why I love this technique of putting a flag on the hood using knifeless tape and scraps. Very little stress, and the transformation is starting to begin, which is cool. So you can see by just taking off the backing paper, going full cowboy, then feeding the material around the recessed area right there. Again, no stress on the material and no stress in my life. Again, here I'm using cast film. This one comes from Avery Dennison, SW900, but you can obviously use any brand. So here, now that the red is on, I'm now using masking tape, and I'm going to create the setup for the green stripes that are going on top. So the masking tape is going from the corner to a corner body line on the car, so it's uniform on all sections. I take a new set of liner because I want the green stripe to be a little less wide than the negative gap of white, and basically doing the same thing. I fold it, make sure the fold matches up with the middle of the masking tape, and do my tick marks with the dry erase marker. Same thing here, you get a good shot of this angle right now, so I'm basically just lining it up there. Very easy how it conforms there, and again, no need for a tape measure, which for me is a huge time saver, and this is for me and actually way more precise than using a tape measure. Now I take the knifeless tape, again, same design line, love how it just snaps right there, and basically just running it from marker to marker. Very important to note right now is to make sure you have enough knifeless tape extra. I see a lot of intermediate and beginner installers don't put enough excess knifeless tape outside the green, and that can make the install really hard because sometimes that release can be tricky if you're new. So now you see that everything's set up with the knifeless tape, and look how quick and dirty this piece goes on. Very small piece of green, much smaller than the red that went on, because this is not nearly as wide. That green's just going to go right on top. So once everything's done, pull the knifeless tape. Now notice that this knifeless tape pull has to be done before the pull of what I just laid on at the beginning on the white. So always have to release in this case because of the flag. The green goes off top and bottom, and then the base layer will go through. We'll get to that in a little bit. But you see how quick this piece gone, and you can see that this is truly a scrap. Just literally, this was just laying around after a workshop and turning this into gold, which is great. So here, release the knifeless tape, quick, lean and mean. Always want to make sure that all the green tape comes out from underneath the film. Once everything's set, now I seal the deal, because keep in mind that this layer of knifeless tape, or when this pull goes down, is going to go through 2 layers. So here, always want to make sure you put your finger on top as the knifeless tape enters the line, otherwise the material is going to kink. So in this case, I have to put my finger on top of the film roughly about 4 times, because there's how many times the material is going to go through, in some cases, 2 layers of film. So you can see how I put my finger on top, pulls through nice and quick. Then I release the excess film, pull low and flat away, that pulls the knifeless tape and the excess film at the same time. And what I love about this point of the install right now is you can really start to see the flag start to take shape, that true customization. And I love the fact that it didn't have to wrap the white, so it makes it super easy. And again, using scraps. And again, you can put stripes on a car and charge X amount, but by putting a flag on a car like this, especially let's say you have that Basque Festival that happened the week before, you can make so much extra money from this, and again, no material cost at all. So now I seal the deal after releasing the knifeless tape, and now it's about the home stretch, which is about finishing the edges. So here you can see the final result of what I talked about, where it looks super cool, and you can see the people's reaction. So I'm getting super excited because it's really starting to take shape right now. And here when I cut the edges right now, after relaxing them with heat, and that's the only time I needed the heat gun, is just to relax the material on the edges, is the material's all set up, super relaxed, and I just cut them out using what we call in the Rap Institute an empty cut 1. So I'm not opening the hood, I just angle my blade slightly away from the edge so it wraps around, and you get a finished result like this, and everyone in the workshop loved it because again, you see it's starting to really build up right now. So So again, good clean finishing on the edge, no need to open the hood, and it's simply about a wipe down right now. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. So I don't know why, but I love turning scraps into gold like that. So I hope you appreciated the tips from Dimas. Great one there, using the PPF for that long-term durability. And then for me, doing that Basque hood. I'm telling you, when I took that car to the Bass Center in Boise, Idaho, people were coming out and crying and stuff like that. It just, the whole idea was like, I love that's the power of wraps, but also knowing as a business owner that you just took scraps and made something really cool. Again, that's a win-win, which is the name of the game. So with that, before we announce the prize winner for demo number 5, Dane, do you have any questions?
You know, it's mostly been people enjoying, and I think it's been a consensus here. You make it look so easy every time you go out there and you do that stuff. I don't know if it's intimidating or inspiring, but it's a little bit of both, I think.
Well, I think if you've been, I've been doing this since, since 1996, and I've wrapped over 3,000 cars and traveled the world, and I have that never stop learning mentality. So hopefully after 26 years, I do make it look easy. But again, it's just also having a passion for what you do, which is great.
No, it really shows. So I've got that covered. Pretty much people have just been watching along, and we've had good, consistent viewership, and the donations keep coming in. It's been really solid. Awesome. So, Lisa.
Okay. So, where are we? Prize pack number 5.
Yes, and Lisa, how many, for those of you who just get excited, how many people, or what are we at in terms of donations right now?
We are at 4,252, which
awesome.
Is amazing.
Awesome.
Super cool.
So, we have a while longer to hit that $5,000 goal.
I would love
so
to
keep
get there.
donating.
Yes, please.
All right.
Link is in the description, by the way,
yes.
for those wondering.
Okay.
All right. Prize pack number 5 is gonna go to. Hold on. I'm on the wrong screen.
There's too many names, too many numbers.
There's too many.
I like that.
Oh, this is no surprise.
Oh.
Jason Otterness.
Oh,
Jason.
We know that guy.
Jason donated, what, 20? He bought 25
He
tickets.
bought 25 entries, yep.
Whoa.
And that's actually an indication, the more tickets you buy, your chance of winning goes up a lot.
Absolutely. So far, everybody that has won has had multiple entries.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's how it works.
that's how it rolls.
Jason, you're awesome, and congratulations. And you also did the demo too. So again, double win for Jason right there. And a win for all of us, who's great information, great prizes. And that brings us to demo number 6. What we're going to do now is do demo number 6. Then at the end, Jody's going to be in house, and she's from Interfaith. She'll explain what all these donations are going to, so you really kind of put a face to the cause. And before we do demo number 6, obviously we want to announce the prizes. And what are the prizes for demo number 6? They come out to $2,010. And you get a Lux gift card of $150. You get 4 boxes of banana buffers. You get 3 pairs of Orful wrap gloves. You get 1 roll of Alltech tuning film carbon, which is great for hoods. It's great for roofs. You get a 2-year membership at the Wrap Institute, so you get to learn how to use all those tools. You get a weldy heat gun, because you need it to use that zero stretch, especially with Alltech. Great film, calendar film, so if you learn how to shrink it, it's a positive. And the last one, and this is a big one, I love Andy from Sliplo donating this, 14 kits of Sliplo Scrape Guard, and that is one of the best upsells in the world, because this next demo is all about upsells. Because for me, one thing that we try to show in this live demonstration right now is the fact that you can learn how to wrap and do all these things, but then if you learn how to start to upsell on this stuff, you can make good profits. So Jason showed how to wrap a hood. Dimas and I just showed how to turn scraps into gold. John and I talked about business. Reiner talked about the windshield. But now this is, for me, one of the easiest ones, and we call it the shiniest upsell out there, is putting a ceramic coat on a fresh wrap. And this is a wrap that we just did right now. And this is a total fresh wrap. This is actually Gabe's car, and Gabe is the production manager for the rag company and everything we do here. And once you get done with the wrap, you make this much money. But if you do a ceramic coating, you can make this much extra money, and it doesn't take you that much time. And Anthony and Levi are going to show you how to do that. But before they come out, behind the camera there, I see someone who's very important. Jody, do you want to come out here and say hi to everyone? So Jody runs Interfaith, and she's going to talk about Interfaith before the last demo. Jody, how are you doing?
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
You look great for 50. It must be the ceramic.
It's all the ceramic coatings I put on. It's very good. So it's both purposes.
It makes
protects
the value.
The car, protects your face.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So Jody, why don't you tell everyone, again, you still have time to get your donations in to win the next prize, and that prize is worth $2,000. So far we've raised $4,200, almost $4,300 for
amazing.
Interfaith. So again, maybe tell the viewers out there what their donations are going to.
Yeah, so I'm Jody Peterson-Steigers. I'm the Executive Director of Interfaith Sanctuary. We're the only low-barrier shelter here in the city of Boise. We provide shelter to families with children, keeping families together. We provide shelter to single men and women, and we have on-site a recovery program, a mental health program, an early education program, programs for teens, an on-site food service program that actually lives inside a food truck that was wrapped by the Wrap Institute.
Last year,
yeah, as a gift. And we're all about solutions and helping people find their footing, giving them a safe place. We reduce trauma with all of our programming and then allow our guests to let us know how they want to move forward and hopefully get into a house of their own one day. So that's our goal. And we're very grateful that you have wrapped yourself around us.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're grateful for the cause because what you guys do is super special. And they're actually moving to a new location soon.
We are on this street.
Yeah, on State Street in Boise, Idaho. And that's going to be a really state-of-the-art facility for the homeless. So for me, it's a really big one. And all your donations help Interfaith. So what we can do now is we'll let Anthony and Levi do the ceramic coating. If you want to stick around, we can do the final announcements for the prices.
Okay. Do I get to choose?
No.
Oh, I don't get to choose the winner?
Well, maybe we could. We'll talk to the crew. Maybe she can kind of blindly point.
Yeah, I got a thumbs up over there.
Or you can pull through the, we got a fancy bowl out there. Yeah, Jody, you're going to pull.
Okay, that would be awesome.
That is awesome. Okay, so Jody, you're going to pull the number.
Okay.
Levi and Anthony are going to ceramic coat the car.
Okay.
We'll see you back in 15 minutes.
All right, and thank you all for your support.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, cool stuff. So with that, and I just said 15 minutes because Levi and Anthony were talking about that you can ceramic coat a car from start to finish in 15 minutes if you have these two guys.
Well, Justin, that's quite nice. I mean, 15 minutes is not a ton of time, but we waited several hours to jump on. We have to jump into this, right? So we're going to make the most of those 15 minutes. We're going to try to get as much done as we can.
So, yeah.
I was just going to say, for those of you wondering, if you can't just use any type of ceramic coating.
Yes,
that's something that's really big. The key is to make sure that you use a flexible coating.
Okay.
Now, flexible coatings, just do a little research on the internet. Okay. There are a lot of different manufacturers that make flexible coating. Not a lot, but there are some of the bigger names out there that do make a flexible coating, and that is important because, Anthony, why do we need to have a flexible coating?
Because wrap is flexible.
Yes.
Wrap stretches. Things expand and contract in heat, right? And with a wrap sitting on a surface, we've seen it firsthand contract, right, with time, especially how long wrap sits there. So what you want is you want to have a coating that's going to be flexible with the wrap and be able to kind of conform to the stretches, conform to all of the pores of the wrap, and be able to obviously set up and stick around, because certain coatings may not adhere to wrap as well because of the lack of flexibility. And so the more flexible they are, the better they're going to adhere, and the better that when they go through heat and cold cycles, it's going to stick around, it's going to stay around. And so flexibility is number one, and some coatings out there, like Levi said, are not flexible. They will harden up like concrete, and it will not stick well, or it just will not it will not last because it's not going to have a substrate to be able to stick to long term. So that's an important part of it. Always prep it, always apply a flexible coating, and then maintain the coating, and maintain it with there's certain toppers and there's certain types of product that can go on top of that to extend the life of that coating as well. And so we've talked about coatings with how they can actually preserve a wrap for an extended period of time in comparison to something that's not coated or doesn't have any protection on it.
Yeah, we actually did a TWI Live maybe 3 or 4 years ago. We wrapped my friend Marshall, his car, Tabitha, she's great. It's her car. We wrapped it with Avery Dennison's Color Flow gloss. And we put ceramic coating on it 1 year, and then next year, to your point, we added another coat of ceramic coating the next year, cleaned and prepped it, and I'm telling you, the car looks brand new.
Yeah, the car still looks good. It's lasted, and that's what we did on my Suburban 4 years ago. Same thing. I've kept it coated, and I've tested a number of flexible coatings. My wrap still looks really great, and still beads water, and still hasn't really discolored. I haven't lost any of the UV protection or anything like that, which is, that's the name of the game. If your customers are investing in your work, it's the easiest way to protect your work and keep it looking nice.
Cool. So what we're going to do is, while you guys put on the coating, we'll talk about the process and tips and tricks. But before we get to that, one thing before you go deep is one thing that kind of skips over. We just made a video about this on the Wrap Institute, so look out for that recent coming up. Is, you know, we just wrapped this car, and during wrapping the car, I used a squeegee because I wrapped part of it, where I put a slip solution on my squeegee to make sure my squeegee was sliding and gliding. Other times people eat a pizza and put your fingers on top. So if you don't prep the vinyl properly, the ceramic coating won't stick. So what is the best way to clean a wrap before you ceramic coat it?
So we always recommend using the prep solution designed by the coating company. In this instance, we're using a different company's prep solution. Bear with us.
Yeah, but it's a great prep solution, and it's something that we've tested. But basically what it comes down to is when a ceramic coating is designed, right, when it's being manufactured, when all the chemistry is being done, they have their particular prep solution, right? Sometimes they're IPA based or alcohol based. Other times they might have some type of degreaser agent to them, or there's some type of detergent in them that's going to provide a deep clean, allowing that to stick, right? So with that said, certain coating companies will use a very strong solution. I'm talking like strong enough to take off like touch-up paint. And then there's others that will create more mild solutions. What we're using today is kind of that middle of the road, right? It's not super strong, it's not super you know, nothing, but it's going to be able to do the job and get the coating to stick properly.
And the reason is, well, we're using a new coating, one that we haven't released yet, but is on its way.
I know about this.
But it is a flexible coating. And
it's amazing.
And that's one of the reasons. So we want to show people that this product that we're going to be coating, we are using this type of prep solution that we already sell, but we've been working in conjunction with both companies trying to make sure that this is compatible, and it is chemically. So that's why we're doing this, but we've done our research, and that's the biggest thing, is a lot of people don't do their research, and that's out there. And that's what we try to do here at the Rag Company, is teach and educate, show you guys exactly the best way to move forward. So
I don't want to put any pressure on you guys.
That's cool.
I just thought for the viewers it might be a little fun.
You totally can do that.
So let's see.
Are you giving us 15 minutes? What are you giving us?
I want to say this first. We got our tools preset, right? So all our stuff is there. The car has been wiped down.
Yes.
That's already been done. Anthony, myself, and you all wearing our Brooks running shoes. Got those, so we're ready to rock and roll.
Give us a snap off the line.
Got some Pepsi products to keep us going, because those are essential tools as well. But we're ready.
So we'll see how long it takes to do the ceramic coating, and we'll talk about the benefits. But that also means you watching only have 15 minutes left to get in your donation to win this prize for round, and the prize is around $2,000 for this one. So you have 15 minutes. Make sure Lisa gets that information, because we're going to cut it off as soon as you guys are done. We're cutting off the time too.
There you go.
All right, so that's the double whammy right now. So that being said, we talked enough about it. We'll talk while you guys wrap. I'm going to start the clock in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, go. Okay, gloves on. First thing we're doing is gloves.
Okay, why gloves?
Gloves because coatings, right? As great as they are on paint, as great as they are on wrap, they're not great on your skin, right? If it's on you, it's in you. So you want to make sure that you're protecting yourself, protecting your skin. Now, I have had coating on my hands before, just I've washed off with soap and water. But you know, once you see
first.
Safety first. And if you were to feel this applicator once we're done, it'll harden up, right? I don't want my hands losing my fingerprints, right? Because you know, I have a coating on the top of it.
Or maybe that's a hint for people who are into crime, though, that if you put ceramic coating on your fingers.
I've said too much. So right now, Levi is taking the mystery coating here, and we're using a Pearl Puck applicator. So for this, we're going to load the applicator. This does have a membrane between the sponge and between the microfiber that's going to prevent the coating from dipping too far into the sponge, keeping more of the product on the surface and less of it inside the actual sponge.
And I think, you know, you told me about this puck recently, Levi, and I know I've worked with a lot of ceramic coating companies, and they provide a sponge, but the sponge is a sponge.
The sponge is a sponge.
You put a ton of ceramic coating on there, but it goes into the sponge, so you're losing 80% of the product into the sponge where it doesn't touch the surface.
Correct.
This one, because it's sealed, you're actually getting the most bang out of your buck for the ceramic coating.
Yeah, and we worked with one of our competitors to create this product, because we had the pearl weave, and he had the barrier technology. And so we thought, gosh, what if we just did something together?
Combine forces
and show people what we can do when we all work together, and that's how this came about. But the other thing is, I have really bad arthritis from doing this for so many years. So this puck, as you see, my hand is pretty much just hanging out on it, and even when I'm holding it, my fingers aren't curled and bent. This makes it much easier for me physically to hold on to this and to use it, especially day in, day out after, you know, doing this for 26 years.
Nice. So you applied at Levi, and now Anthony, what are you doing?
So I'm going to be coming through with a towel and start knocking everything down. Now I'll probably have a secondary towel depending on the coating, right? Okay. Sometimes it's great to have a couple towels as just an insurance policy, just to make sure you can knock it down. What I'm looking for before I start wiping the product is I'm going to start seeing a rainbowing effect that's going to be happening on top of the surface. I have 3 different colors that I'm looking at right now, so probably the chrome's the easiest. Once I start seeing it flash, I'm going to come through with my towel, take this, and start knocking it down.
And so what is that rainbow, when it starts to do what's called flashing or has that rainbow effect, what does that mean?
So basically the coating is setting up on the surface, right? It's actually evaporating into the, not evaporating, but it's seeping down into the coating itself. Okay. And then all of the carrier agents from the coating are rising to the top, right? And that's a lot of that rainbowing effect that you'll see. So everything else is being absorbed. What you see that's left over is just that extra carrier, and then you're just going to knock that down and wipe that off. Otherwise, you're going to be left with streaks.
So basically, once it flashes, it's telling you that the vinyl's full.
Yep.
And it's take away the excess.
Exactly. It's exactly what that is. Because if I were to take another protective product, let's just say something that was really thick, right? Maybe another coating that wasn't meant to go on top of a coating, and I went to go spray that on the top, I would start seeing massive amounts of streaks. Okay. And those streaks is because the coating is full, and I can't put anything else on top of it. So you want to make sure you're knocking it all down. Okay. This is looking great.
So how long, so I know that, you know, Rap Institute, we've made a lot of product videos for a lot of companies that make ceramic coatings, and they all have different flash points.
Yes.
So what, you know, is that something that people should really consider when purchasing or using ceramic coatings? What's the big thing?
What they need to consider is doing some research and finding out what kind of temperatures they're going to be installing the coating in.
Okay, what temperature is the best to apply ceramic coating?
Lower than this, really.
Lower than this.
So that is causing this to flash pretty quick.
I'm moving pretty quick compared to what I'd normally do. If it was cooler in here, roughly 10 to 15 degrees cooler in here, I would have a lot more working time.
I always say about 50 to 80 degrees.
50 to 80 is a good sweet spot. So that's actually because when you wrap cars, I mentioned earlier, 60 to 75 when wrapping is kind of ideal. A little colder, the material is stiff. A little hotter, the material is kind of gummy and can overstretch the material. But you're saying ceramic coating has a bit of a wider window than that.
A little bit wider. The biggest thing is humidity. Okay. So the higher the humidity, the faster most coatings cure or flash. Okay. Many of them flash at a higher rate. This coating can be air cured. It could on paint. I don't recommend it for vinyl. It can be infrared cured. Nice. So you can run an infrared lamp on it. But this coating, after 6 hours, is fully cured. Wow. So if you coat it in the morning, you're able to give it back to customer, where some coatings take up to 2 weeks to fully cure.
Which is crazy. Which
is really crazy. So this is one of the fastest curing coatings on the market.
And that's really important, because I think a lot of you, what we're trying to show in this this demo is one of my favorite things about the Rap Institute partnering with the Rag Company is it's kind of merging, and we've been doing it for years, but it's more and more happening, is the detail world and the wrapping world are, you know, really kind of coming together. And so for me right now, a lot of wrappers don't know what detailers know, and this is important to get right. And you have to choose the right ceramic coating, so don't necessarily go by the one that is the best well-known necessarily, because you have to research it. Because what Levi just said is extremely important, which for me is the sense that, like, if you're a wrap shop owner and you get done doing a color change wrap, you're not going to be able to wait 2 or 3 days to let the customer go out to let that ceramic coating properly harden. Because if it doesn't properly harden, then obviously you lose the benefit of putting ceramic coating on, and the customer is going to come back 2 weeks later.
Right, or like today, it's raining.
Right, exactly. So having a ceramic coating that can dry this quickly, you can do the ceramic coating. When the install is done, the next morning the client picks it up, overnight it's dried properly, and now you're good to go. And the benefits are there and they're obvious, which is cool.
Yeah, or finish the car like we did last night and then coat it first thing in the morning.
Right.
The customer is ready to pick it up when they get off work.
So as you guys are cooking right now, Anthony, you got the 2 towels right now.
Yep.
Why these particular, obviously it's a rag company, you guys are experts with towels. Why are you using the pearl right now?
So pearl weave uses a super short nap type style of microfiber. Okay. Basically, the weave is that the microfiber is sewn back into itself, so it's an in and out weave, right, keeping the pile short. Because on a traditional terry style weave, you have fibers that stick upward. Those fibers that stick upward typically grab and cling on to more than you want, removing more of the coating rather than leveling it. Because again, all that stuff that rises to the top, I want it to level it out. I don't want to remove all the stuff I just put on. We find that terries traditionally will work as well, but there's potential for lint, there's potential to remove too much of the coating, whereas the pearl, because of the short nap and because of the way that it's sewn, it's going to knock it down, leaving more of the coating on the surface and reducing the amount of streaks. So it's got a good aggressive bite to it, and that's why we like it so much.
The other thing is very lint-free, so when he's wiping over some of these spots where we've laid a secondary layer of vinyl, we don't have to worry about it grabbing a bunch of lint or fuzz and loading up your work.
Yep, and I find that with this towel, it doesn't push coatings around, because what happens with certain towels and certain ceramic coatings, you'll go to wipe something and you'll find that it's just pushing it into other more adjacent areas, where I find with this towel, it knocks it down, it picks up any residual stuff, and it makes life easier. And so I constantly fold and flip my towel as needed, and so what I'll do is, once I feel a side of the towel is starting to get loaded up, flip it to the other side, as long as the product hasn't absorbed all the way through, and then I'll continue on. But roughly, in a coating job, you could probably get away with, I don't know, Levi, in a car this big, 6 towels, you think?
Yeah. And are you going to be able to reuse those towels, or are they junk?
So you can demote them depending on the coating.
And what do you mean,
can reuse them depending on the coating.
What do you mean by demote?
So if this towel, for example, picks up a bunch of coating, it may not be absorbent anymore after this, even after going through a wash. So what I would do is I would say this towel is no longer paint worthy for a ceramic coating, but it could be worthy for cleaning a wheel. It could be worthy for, let's just say, throwing it on a table if I'm setting out wrap supplies. I mean, we'll still wash the towel, but it may not be as useful as it once was. So you kind of have to build towels into your cost of your coating cost, of your coating charge, you're charging, your pricing. That's a whole bag.
So speaking of cost, though, let's go to that segue, because I love, again, talking about money and stuff. Again, it's not always about money, but it is about money, because at the end of the day, this is a business and stuff like that. So in terms of cost right now, Levi, how much product do you think you'll put on this out of one bottle?
So this is a larger bottle, so I should be able, this is a big car. So this is a 50 milliliter bottle. I would expect to use about 30 milliliters on this vehicle.
And how much does the bottle cost?
This bottle roughly is going to be about anywhere from $75 to $100.
So your material cost or your coating cost is around $50.
Yeah.
Okay. And the towels, let's say 6 towels of pearl, that costs how much?
Probably, we'll say about $12 to $15.
Okay. So now you're at $62.
Yep.
And then in terms of labor right now, you guys are talking and you guys are going incredibly slow, which is totally disappointing.
I know. That's Anthony's over there talking.
No,
I'm
but
moving.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to, guys. I'm trying to go. It's actually harder on this color of wrap than I thought it was going to be.
You can't see.
You can't see it.
And we got, the lighting here is good. But let's say, okay, 2 guys. And again, you guys are premium top guys. So we're paying you guys, let's say $6 an hour. So,
oh, dang. We're going to eat good tonight.
So anyway, but again, let's say you guys get done in 20 minutes. You clean the car, which takes about 5 minutes to get it all wiped down and stuff like that for ceramic coating. It takes you guys 15, put it on. So now you got 20 minutes of labor hours for 2 people, because again, wax on, wax off.
Yep.
So the idea right now is, let's say, your labor costs right now are going to be, let's say, $60 to $100, depending how much you pay your installers or whatever. So my point is, though, let's say total in right now, you guys are, for the shop, you're in at about, let's say, $120. That being said, how much, you guys are detailers, but I know a lot of wrap shops, how much would you guys charge a customer to put a ceramic coating on top of a wrap?
Depends on the protection that you're going to put on.
Right.
There are 1-year flexible coatings, there are 18-month flexible coatings, and then like what we're putting on right now is a 3-year flexible coating.
Okay, so let's say 3-year flexible coating.
So if we're doing a 3-year, I would probably say this could be an easy extra $500 to $750 upcharge.
So your profit margin on this is 80%.
Correct.
90%. And when you do the color change wrap, your profit margin might be 20 to 30%.
Yep.
So that's one of the things that I'm trying to push on the Wrap Institute is just standalone ceramic coating on the wrap itself. You're going to make a profit of 80%. So you're going to make a profit of $400 or $500. One of the questions that I just got from Dane right now on the earpiece was, can you put ceramic coating on rims? Can you put it on windows?
Yep, you can, and they make them specific for wheels and glass, and so you can totally do that, and you can add that.
Right,
a windshield could be an extra $100 to $150.
So $150 for windshield, and then for the rims. But again, keep in mind the question was, do you put the same ceramic coating that you're putting on the wrap on the windows and rims?
No.
Okay, why is that?
Because one, normal ceramic coatings aren't designed, especially flexible ones, aren't designed for glass.
Okay.
They're not designed to handle the stresses that wiper blades are going to put on it as it moves back and forth. So what you're going to need is something that's a little stronger, a little more chemically different.
Okay.
And so a glass coating is usually very simple and easy to install. It comes in a big bottle for about $100. It's going to cost you about $10 in materials, maybe $20 to install it. And if you pair it with one of the new films that you put on, it's an could be an additional $500 for the installer too.
So now we're at $1,100 for the windows, and then we got, let's say, the rims and doing all that stuff. So for me, again, ceramic coating is absolutely essential to add it to your repertoire. I even recommend it for commercial wraps. So even for like, because I think especially for commercial wraps, and people always think ceramic coating for color change or PPF, but I think commercial wraps are even more important because let's say you have a person who has a company that have a fleet of air conditioner vans that go around and fix and stuff. Those guys and gals who drive those cars are not going to clean those cars on a regular basis. Ceramic coating is actually extremely smart to do because it not only protects the wrap, but I mean, it's hard to see on camera right now. This wrap looks infinitely better than it did 10 minutes ago. Why is that?
It adds a gloss.
Okay.
It adds a little more depth. It adds a little more richness to the color. So it's just going to make it look that much better. And as we've seen through our events and tests, we've put them on wraps a year old, and
they brought them back to life.
It brings it back to life. It almost rejuvenates the entire wrap. So we've gone all the way around here. I still got to do side steps and the roof.
Okay.
So
that being said, I think that brings us to another point. So again, for commercial wraps, I highly recommend it because it makes the print job look better. It's great for fleets. So again, you can do it for all that. And what we're going to do is once this product launches, and I wish I could name it right now, totally amazing product.
They're going to have to just watch the Rag Company to learn more.
I mean, everyone knows the Wrap Institute. I'm not here to sell a product. Wrap Institute is totally brand neutral, even though that Pepsi product was delicious and these Brooks are fantastic.
Brooks are comfortable.
Brooks are comfortable. So again, thank you for Brooks for the birthday present. Awesome. But the idea right now is in about a month, I'm going to be back here in Boise and we're going to be doing a workshop for A.V. Dennison. And that wrap that we talked about for Tabitha on her minivan, again, it still looks great. But we haven't put a ceramic coating on it for about a year and a half. So the idea right now is we're going to bring that car in and we're going to foam it, clean it, get the wrap pristine, and then we're going to put another ceramic coating on it. So what you have to think about in the video that we're going to make about that for the Wrap Institute, just to give you kind of a hint for that, is a lot of customers will say they can't afford a whole new wrap. But what you can get the customer to do is come back in and say, look, maybe you can't afford a whole new wrap, but you can afford us to put a new ceramic coating on top, and this time we'll charge you $500. Because those of you watching right now, you know that right now in terms of material and cost and stuff like that, it's actually not that much in terms of time and labor. So you can get away with saying $400 or $500. You're still going to make money on it, and it prolongs the life of that wrap, which means a happy customer. And if you have a happy customer, as a loyal customer that talks to their friends, and word of mouth for me is one of the best ways to get jobs. I think a lot of you know that.
Yeah, exactly. So Anthony, there you go.
Okay.
Up there, got half that roof.
Cool. So again, you guys are just kind of flowing and going. You guys aren't working very hard. You're just kind of slowly, steadily going on. And that's kind of the name of the game with ceramic coating. You don't want to work too fast. Is that correct, Anthony?
Right. Yeah. Well, you don't ever want to get ahead of yourself.
So don't, like, I wouldn't coat a whole car and then be like, now it's time to wipe it off. Okay. No, it's coat a section at a time. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Make it realistic. And it's better just to be kind of relaxed about it. I mean, it's like, unless you have a customer showing up in 15 minutes, there's really no reason to rush it. Put on some relaxing music, right? If you want to listen to some classical stuff. Levi likes listening to, what do you like to listen to? E-books?
I like to listen to podcasts, audiobooks, and, a little opera here and there.
But I would also highly recommend putting a TV in your shop and maybe watching the Wrap Institute while you do your
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But I guess my question then, as we kind of finish up and you guys are almost done with, the top of the roof is almost done, half of it, is right now, for example, I'm someone who wasn't part of this process. I'm a salesperson on production. I come out and see the car. I think it looks absolutely amazing right now. What happens if I touch it?
Nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good. You can touch it.
Is that going to affect the overall leveling? Is that going to affect anything?
No, it's pretty much off the surface as much.
other than what's already started to
chemically penetrate.
And you said, hey, can I rub my pizza fingers all over this? I'd say, hey, please don't do that.
I'd ask you to wash your hands first.
So again, once you kind of even level it out, this particular ceramic coating hardens quick enough that you're not going to affect the level.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And
well, it's so humid in here right now.
What?
So humid in here right now.
Okay.
It's flashing. very quickly.
Which is rare for Boise. So you guys, humid is like 60%, but normally humidity in Boise is 10%. So you guys really actually never really think about humidity.
It's because it's raining today. So
but let's say, for example, one of my favorite wrap shops in the world is Metro Wraps.
Yeah.
And Metro Wraps, they're in Miami. Even though they're climate controlled and stuff like that, let's say you're in a high humid shop. How do you adjust for humidity when you're putting ceramic coating on? Because there's one thing to do temperature. How do you stop humidity?
Well, if you don't have AC, the biggest thing is making sure you keep some form of air moving. Okay. Usually not on the panel. So I would try and keep air moving above the surface and below the surface, just so you can kind of limit the amount of humidity in that direct area.
Okay, cool.
So having some floor fans, maybe some carpet, like carpet cleaning style fans.
Okay.
Would be great, because you actually don't realize if you can put a fan behind a car, how much air is just kind of wafted out. And that's what I used to do in my shop. I didn't have AC, and so on humid days I'd have a couple floor fans, and if it was a really hot day, we would just place it directly either in front of the car or behind it, and then crank that fan on and just get to work.
Okay. And then, so I mean, thanks for that answer.
Floor's got to be clean though.
Floor's got to be clean for sure. And I say, again, this is, we're doing this event, and the rag company, you guys have been awesome. Your whole crew has been amazing, not only in the preparation for this event, but also during the event. Great professional crew. Obviously, you guys sell a lot of microfiber towels, a lot of products and stuff like that. How important is it to choose the right microfiber towel versus going to Home Depot, going to Lowe's and stuff like that? Is that going to affect your long-term quality?
Yeah, so there was a post on one of the detailing forums recently. Was a customer or a detailer had just coated a customer's vehicle, and after they pulled it out into the sun, they noticed a ton of micro scratching all over the surface.
Okay.
And it was when they were walking the car, looking at it over in the sunlight, it looked like someone had taken a Brillo pad and just scuffed up their car.
And that was 100% from microfiber towels.
And it's a very micro. It's micro. It's very small.
Right.
So it doesn't. Not everybody notices it.
Is what it's called.
But not everybody sees it.
Okay.
So the customer might not have seen it.
Right.
But the installer saw it.
Sure.
And the reason was he had announced I was using Costco towels,
right,
or Kirkland Signature towels, which aren't bad,
right,
but it's an 80
for certain jobs.
Yeah, but it's an 80-20 blend.
Yeah.
And on soft surfaces, soft clear coat, vinyl specifically is very soft in its nature. That will cause micro marring in the surface. You can see in the chrome, just running the squeegee over it caused some light scratching. Looked like Gabe had come over and tried to scratch a piece out and put some scratches in the chrome.
Right.
This is something, if we were doing this for somebody other than Gabe, we would probably replace this piece.
Okay.
Because of the amount of scratching, because we can't get that out.
Sure. Actually, steam will take that out. Good to know that the pod steamer will take that out. But
but we'd either steam it, or we need to make sure that it's polished and clean before we coat it, because wiping with the towel can also do just the same amount of damage and can scratch it. So all of the rag company towels are 80-20. But we also make the highest percentage of 70-30 blended towels, which is a higher concentration of polyamide.
Okay.
So 70% polyester, 30% polyamide. That's what these purple pearls are. So they're soft, and that's why we recommend all the towels that you guys have on the Wrap Institute. What you have in Munich are all 70-30 towels for that specific purpose.
And you can feel and see the difference too.
You can feel and see the difference. They're more absorbent than a normal or lower quality towel. So it's a tool. It's going to make you more efficient. It's going to be easier to get the job done. You're not going to have the damage that you're going to run into.
Right, and the thing is, it's not that much more expensive either. And that's why we work with companies like Yellow Tools. People say, oh, Yellow Tools is a little more expensive than the cheaper brands. But you're going to feel the quality, you're going to see the durability, plus it's good for the environment. That's why we work with all the other brands too, in terms of doing the right product for the right thing. Banana buffers, monkey strips, you always want to put it on a quality buffer, and it shows, for sure. So Levi, how much do you think you guys are close to finish, or you put this
I got this I'm literally wiping this last side skirt and I'm done.
Okay, so for those of you watching right now, you have basically like 1 more minute, I would say, to get your donation in. And the prize for this last round is around $2,000. And then we're going to have Jody come up. And Jody, maybe you want to go in the back room right now, and they can guide you in the back room. And then Jody, you can actually pull the name from the
bowl.
Oh, it has to have a special name because it's like a beautiful bowl. I don't know what we call it.
The beautiful bowl.
The beautiful bowl.
It's got a lot of flair to it.
Yeah. So again, Jody's going to pull it right now. And so far today, we've given away $10,000 worth of prizes. Pretty amazing.
Pretty
$10,000
amazing.
worth of prizes, and I love the fact that I
Absolutely.
think we're close to $5,000, Jody.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So what is $5,000? How far or how much does that help, or what's the kind of an average per guest that you have?
So the way that we kind of figure that out is based on our budget.
Okay.
So for $25 a day, you are supporting one guest getting all the services, shelter, meals, and
Wow.
everything. And
Wow.
so that's how we kind of base our yearly budget is. It's going to be about $25 a day. So $5,000, that does some real work. That takes care of a lot of people.
Which is very cool. So,
Yeah.
Levi, can we call it?
Yeah, you can call it.
All right, we're at 22 minutes while talking, so I think in real time 15. Jody,
So shiny.
so shiny.
I know.
Not as shiny as this bowl though.
Can you do the face acrylic? Is that a thing?
Maybe they have a special one coming
With
out.
the rag company, it seems like a more efficient way to look youthful at 50.
Absolutely. So why don't we come on over here? Youthful at 50. So 50 years old. Again, great. Thank you all for the birthday wishes. For me, it's great to gift the Interfaith with this,
Yeah.
which is awesome. All the people involved. So with that being said, without further ado, you're going to pull a number. You're going to let Lisa know the number, and then she's going to give me a name. or she's gonna-
Lisa, the number is that the number?
182.
182.
And keep in mind that we can't have one person win two prizes. So Lisa, if it's Jason, because he donated so much money, we have to go with someone else.
How do I know?
I don't know. Lisa, let us know.
We're going to find out right now.
We'll find out.
Does like something hit
182,
us?
right?
Yeah,
Like,
182.
no, Lisa, 182 already
Yeah,
won.
I'm listening right now.
Oh.
That
Okay,
is
see, I don't have that technology.
There we go.
Bryce
So
Shepard.
it's a winner?
Bryce Shepard.
Yes.
Jody, Bryce Shepard just won $2,000.
Bryce, congratulations.
Congrats.
You're going to love
Awesome.
your gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bryce, thank you so much. It helped Jody support
Yeah,
the homeless.
thank
and
you
her
so much.
cause,
Thank
which
you
is
for the
really cool,
donation.
which is awesome. So
Yeah.
again, thank you all. This concludes the Rep Institute live event. Jody, it was awesome. We had so many people watching, so many people donate, which for me makes me warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to help you out. Again,
Yeah.
what you're doing is great. It's super courageous and beautiful. I really respect what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and keep learning, right?
Always never stop learning.
Never
which is
stop
cool.
learning.
So again, hope you all enjoyed this special event. Big thank you to the Rag Company crew, big thank you to the Rap Institute crew, and all of you for watching, especially all the sponsors. The fact that you donated the prize, Chuck from Fellers, we got Dave from Avery Dennison here. Again, awesome stuff. I got my beautiful wife in the corner I can see filming, which is cool. So again, thank you all so much, and as always, never stop learning, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Cheers.
Ciao. Bye.
Okay.
Woo!
Oh, look.
Good work.